Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Kyle's Corner. It has been a long time. I kept telling myself I was going to redo this, and then I just never did. And as I was starting to think about who I wanted on, I noticed that my friends Madison and Scott started reposting videos, and I cheated a little bit to have Taylor here because Taylor kind of went away, but you didn't go away as much as these two went away. You popped in once in a while just to remind us that you were here. And I thought it would be a good opportunity. Like we're all kind of like dipping our toes back into BookTube. And, I haven't talked to most of you for a while, so I thought it'd be a good idea to catch up. So if people don't know who you guys are, I'm going to go clockwise. So Scott, if you want to start us off, kind of reintroduce yourself, and to whatever degree you're comfortable, let us know where you've been and what you've been up to.
Sure. I'm an old bald guy that likes to talk about books occasionally, so that's me. Bald Booktuber is my channel. Last year was rough, so I got laid off from a job I'd been with for 23 years. So dealing with that was not a lot of enjoyment, and ate into my reading and other things. So I pretty much spent last year rereading things and not reading new stuff. So there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, so that's why I didn't do really too many videos. But things are good now. So new job, licensed in a couple areas in the financial industry now. So for the new job, so yeah, things are good. Hopefully, I will post regularly again, or at least a couple times a month, which is regularly for me. But
Right.
yeah, that's how I roll. That's me.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the job, but it's good that things are stable now, and that's like a rough transition. I know that like this year, because I'm having a kid, like my life is all going to be all over the place, and I'm planning this year to be a big reread year because it's such a comfort, right? Like when you're going through a bunch of change, you don't have that like cognitive load. It's just like, oh, the stuff I love is just going to comfort me. So I'm glad to hear you're back.
It was. So there's a new Dresden book that just came out. So I like reread all of the series up to that, and then there was a Sun Eater. The final Sun Eater book came out last year, so I reread all of that. So about half of the books that I read last year were those two series. So that was most of it.
I'm in the middle of rereading both of those series for the same reason, and I underestimated how much time I would need to do it. So
it's a fair amount. Yeah, it's a fair amount.
Taylor, what about you?
Sure. So I took my main absence from BookTube because I moved from Japan to the States. That was about 6 months ago now, and I don't even know what even is time. Yeah, so that was a huge move, and it's taken a lot of adjusting on both sides. There's some positive adjustments and negative, as with all things. But the way it affected my reading was I just wasn't, to be honest, for a while there. And I did make a lot of lifestyle content while I was in Japan. And so I think I was just kind of trying to find my footing with that again. Because when you're grieving a place that you love so much, it can be hard to make content that used to be about it, if that makes sense, like shifting the lens away from that. So that kind of led me to take quite a big break. But as Kyle mentioned, I'd pop in every now and then and be like, I read something. Hi, So I think now some of that grieving period has been processed. So I feel more able to read again and really be present in the space. So that's why I've kind of come back more full force. And just to jump on to what both you, Scott and Kyle said, I will be doing a lot of rereads this year. That's my plan. Not necessarily, I mean, they do provide comfort, but basically I've been promising I would do that for ages. And
it's so hard to like make it a priority when there's new stuff.
Exactly. And when you're making content, right? So this year I gave myself a number because I'm a checkboxy person. I'm hoping that will help. And I'm really looking forward to making content, like comparing how I used to feel to how I feel now, stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of value in rereading. So I'm with you guys on that goal.
Yeah.
The books don't change, but we change. So enjoy the process.
That right
I did a reread last year, The Color Purple, and I read it during like a very stressful time in my life, like in 2017. And if anybody's not read it, it's like it's written phonetically. It's a woman with low reading skills, so she's writing letters, so it's like written poorly on purpose to like give feeling, and I just bounced off of it entirely. And then I reread it this last year on audio and loved it. It was a phenomenal. So it's like sometimes that reread can just hit so much differently.
Yeah, I
And
think that things that are written phonetically actually just translate so much better to an audiobook for
yes,
me.
that
It's
was the
hard.
thing. I actually, because I was like, I don't know if I would like, and I was like, you know what? I bet on audio, and it worked so much better for me. So
Hmm.
yeah. What number of rereads are you trying to hit, Taylor?
My goal is 6. But actually, hearing what you said just there has given me another idea. I was thinking to reread only favorites, but I think maybe I should do half ones I hated and
That'd
see
be
if I
cool.
like them better now. I think
Well,
that'd be fun.
half is a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's
Like,
true.
like, yeah, I get it because I always want to be like. Sometimes I hate a book and I'm confident I'm never gonna like Ready Player One. Like that'll never be a book I like. But there are some books that I didn't like, and I'm like maybe at a different time in my life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun to revisit that way.
yeah,
So we'll all have
Ma-
to convalesce later about our rereads.
yeah, absolutely. Madison, how you been?
Woo! That's a loaded question, Kyle. No, honestly, things are really, really good. And I'm sure everyone knows 'cause I've made some videos about this and like, I'm a yapper. So anyone who will listen, I like to tell my stories. But, my mom passed away in 2023 and it was tragic and sudden and uprooted our entire existence. We adopted 2 more kids because they were her kids. And we had to move 3 states away back to my hometown, which has been really interesting. It's been net positive for sure. I've always wanted to come back here, but coming home is crazy. All of my siblings live here, so it has been just our life has been completely turned upside down. And I never really took a break from reading or, audiobooking because I primarily audiobook. So I never really slowed down there, but there was no way I was making content through all of that. Like,
Hmm.
I can't even I can't even explain what I went through. And it's just wild because it gives you this new sense of empathy. You view the world through a completely different lens because then you start to realize that you're like, people are going through this type of bullshit all around me. And it's just sad that like other people are sad. Like that's crazy. But it's been a couple of years and honestly the whole transition has gone better than I could have expected. But it was still so hard, like just moving through gelatin. So I'm finally at a place where I'm like focusing on myself again. I decorated my room. I got my space back. I'm medicated. I just feel healthy and I'm ready to start doing the things that made me happy again. So, like I said, I never really walked away from reading, but it really wasn't even like a healthy thing. It was escapism to the point of disassociation. And so, one of my goals this year, honestly, is to read a little less because I got to touch grass. I read, I mean, the amount of books I read last year is not that many compared to some like super readers. But for me, it was like, you need another hobby, honey. So, um,
I watched your 133 video yes
That's
no
so
maybe
cool.
video,
It's a good
and
video.
I got to say that a lot of those books are very long, so it's a
I
bigger
did a
number than
lot
it
of
seems like.
rereading.
Yeah.
So you guys are all like on the reread train, and I'm trying to like maybe take a few steps back. Like I don't think I'll ever not be a rereader because it's just like I'm a rewatcher. I
Hmm.
am a nostalgia junkie. I've been listening to the same music since 1999. Like I'm a rereader because that's just like how I work. But I'd like to do less. I mean, last year I reread so many series and I'm trying to just, maybe try some new stuff because that's again, I'm stuck in a comfort zone of disassociation and like I could stay with Fitz and the Fool forever and ever and ever and just reread those books on repeat, for example. So I'm gonna try to not reread so much this year and experience some new adventures.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're the opposite of our side of things, and I mean, obviously, it
You're gonna
sounds like
love
you're.
it though. You're gonna have fun. But it's like an indulgence. It's like
Yeah.
when you are depressed and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna eat the whole cake. Like I'm gonna do it because why not? What does it matter anymore? That was like my reread mentality. It was like I'm gonna reread Wheel of Time. Why not? It's only $16.
Yeah,
15.
I will
Sorry.
never reread all of those. That's just crazy. I don't even. I'm not even gonna read them all. Crossroads of Twilight. I'm never reading. That's for sure.
You can
Um,
skim it. I'm honestly fine with that. Like
I just didn't read
some
it,
people are
Madison. It's
so
fine.
hardcore. I'm like, you know what? Just read the Wikipedia page and move to the next one. It's fine.
Um,
It's worth getting through those for the Sanderson trilogy.
I
So
agree.
even though I
Yes, the
don't like
Sanderson stuff.
Crossroads of Time, it's worth it.
The Gathering Storm is one of my favorite Sanderson books, period. And
It's
So
rereading
good.
it
incredibly good.
just
Yeah,
now
very
has
good.
cemented that. I was like, what a cool book. Like he just goes nuts. I love it.
Madison, I super relate to the idea of like wanting to just take a step back. And I think that, people hear that, and a lot of people's goals inevitably are to read more, right? Because there's so many things you want to experience. And I know when I say, because last year I did try to make a goal of like reading a book a day, kind of like halfway through, but like before 2025, I know. But before 2025, my goals for like the 2 years before that were to read less. And people just like didn't understand that. And I was like, no, like I just feel like I can't do, like I'm just like I gotta keep like like it was like
it was an addiction.
Always doing it. Yeah, it's like you're always
that's never
doing
a healthy place to be.
Yeah.
And
No,
like I said, I got set off in like March and April. I did some like book bingos on Instagram that were really fun. But I had it in my mind that I was like, I'm gonna do Blackout. And I'm like, that's like, why would you do that? It's not the game. But I was just like, I bet you can. And I ended up reading a lot of variety and like stuff I never would have picked up. So like it was like overall it was a good experience, but it did have me like a little bit going crazy. So I don't know. I just want to focus on quality over quantity, even though like I don't feel like I had a low quality last year either. So, just kind of have fun, branch out. And like I said, I want to spend more time doing stuff like this because I get a different type of gratification from that. So, I mean, I felt like my personality was just like muted for years because I was in survival mode, which is just, it was a time and a place. But I feel like it's starting to come back and I'm ready to just chit chat with my friends and stuff. So thank you for having me on.
I think the key is more monster erotica. You need to get more monster erotica in, and then you'll be good.
I loved you were just like, I gave it 5 stars. Don't judge me.
Well, when I read that last one, I think I gave it 2 stars. I was like, that's enough. Like that is
for anybody unfamiliar. Madison went down some smut routes, which as you do, and then towards the end of her video, it just got like monster smut, and then she was just like, I loved it. Okay, leave me alone.
Shut up. I'm like, it's December. Like my kids are home from Christmas break. I can't think or hear or anything, but like, my God, those books are crazy, you guys. It's like somebody
it's pure
wrote
escapism, right?
Yeah.
So.
And like you're going to the grocery store, this going on in your headphones. You're like, no one around here knows. No one in this aisle knows what I know right now.
I think about that sometimes when I'm just like, because I know that like I'm always listening to wild stuff, and then I'm like, I'm in the grocery store or wherever, and somebody's listening to something. I'm like, I just wonder what this person's listening to. Like, there's no way to know, and it's just interesting to play that guessing game. And I would never guess monster smut. So,
yeah, I think I'm good for a while. I scratched the itch, and I'm deep into hockey romance now. So,
oh yeah, heated rivalries. I made a deal with my coworkers because I've been trying to get them to read Mistborn, and my one coworker loves Heated Rivalries, the show. So I agreed. I gave her a copy of Mistborn a while ago, and I agreed to watch the first 2 episodes of Heated Rivalry if she reads Mistborn for 2 hours. So I feel like that's a fair trade-off.
Reasonable trade. Yeah.
That's reasonable, but I gotta say, I won't talk about Heated Rivalry anymore after this. The first 2 episodes, you're like, okay, this is like exactly what I thought it was going to be. Okay. The 3rd episode throws you through a loop. It changes POVs, and you're like, okay, also weird. But when you get to 4 and 5 and 6, all of a sudden you're like, wait, why is this good? Like, why is this like really, really good? So I don't know. You should watch it, Kyle.
I'm a bit of a TV snob, not even TV snob, but like when things are highly rated, I like to check them out. And the 5th episode of Heated Rivalries getting like a perfect rating on IMDb. I was like, Ozymandias by Breaking Bad is the only episode of I'm like, I was mad on like I was like, there's no way. So I probably will watch the first 5 episodes just to.
And then you have to watch the 6th because it's the last one, and there's only like more. So why would you?
Unless I was like hating it, I'm sure that like I'll just end up watching the show. Like enough people like it that I think. The first 2 episodes,
like I said, I enjoyed them, but it was just like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Right. And then it just kept getting better and better. And by the end, I was like, well, God damn it, I'm obsessed with this.
Scott, what do you think? Buddy watch?
No, but I appreciate the offer. I don't. I can pretend if you want me to, but no, I won't be watching that.
Just be like, yeah, that episode was good. I have no follow-up comments.
I'll buddy watch it with you, Kyle, because it's the only thing I watch. That's the only way I'll watch anything. Because I never watch stuff.
All right. You're not a big TV watcher?
No, I'm not. And it's not like on purpose. I'll go through a
Mm-hmm.
phase where I'll love something and I'll watch it for a couple days and binge it, and then I forget
Same.
that like visual media exists, unless I'm watching a movie with my daughter. Thankfully, she has good taste, so I've seen Totoro a bajillion times. But like, the only thing that gets me coming back is K-dramas, because in the way that Madison was talking about books, that was her escape. That's K-dramas for me. I don't really need to care or use my brain or pay attention. There are some that you do, but I purposefully choose the ones that I don't have to.
Fair.
You know, I'm like, oh, this one's fluffy. I want that one. So for me, that's kind of the only thing that I go back to watching by myself. But if I'm buddy watching something, that does get me to watch it. So maybe I should be part of the cultural zeitgeist for once and actually watch Cheetah Rivalry with you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I usually watch like the popular things just to be able to talk about them or like know the cultural touchstones. And I heard about Heated Rivalries. I was like, I hate hockey. People assume it's going to be the gay romance. Nah, man, I hate hockey. I was like, no, I'm out. And then my coworkers convinced me to give it a try. So
Well, I hope you end up having even a little bit of fun. It'll be worth it.
yeah, it'll be interesting to talk about, even if I don't. But
Well, you can talk to me if you want. If you want
Absolutely.
to gush about it.
Speaking of like shocking things, though, I was going to bring up when Taylor was talking. My last like cultural touchstone of what was going on with Taylor through her videos or maybe like talking to her somewhere was that she could be moving to the States. And then I'm at Worldcon at Zach Argyle's signing, and there's a bunch of people there. There's like, it's just like, you just look over, you're like, oh, there's man carrying thing. Like, I'm like, where are all these people coming? And all of a sudden, Taylor is standing right next to me. I had no idea she was in the country, let alone at Worldcon.
Surprise.
And I was like,
That's cool.
Taylor, what are you doing here? And so that was just such a nice surprise. And I feel like we really, had a lot of fun at Worldcon. And
We did.
it's just such a great place to just meet everybody and talk.
I want to do that so bad.
And
Yeah,
we
me
should
too.
all continue doing these things because, man, the being around like this community in person is just the fun stuff,
It's a lot
We
of
got to get
fun.
you out there,
go to
Scott
mini
Madison.
cons?
No, I've only been to 2. I went to 2
Okay.
last year, and now I'm
you
having a
went to both
baby.
Worldcon and see, that's kind of my problem. Is every year Worldcon and I guess Dragonsteel Nexus, they look like, okay, that's the one I want to go to. But Worldcon is always during the first week of back to school here in Oklahoma. And I'm just like, as a person with 5 kids, that's like logistically impossible because there's different start days, different start times. And like the first week of school is just so like, I don't know, everyone's getting back into the routine, and I don't trust it to just be like, leave it to grandmas and stuff for the first
Right.
week. I don't know. So it's just always like a very
Rough time of
inconvenient
the
time.
year. Yeah.
And then the same
Um,
with the other one is it's like in December. And I'm like, you guys know that like there's like
People have
holiday
kids.
stuff going on every second of every day. But not everyone has 5 kids. It's just kind of annoying. But I'm like, why can't you do anything in like, I don't know,
just bring them all. Just rent a
October
minivan.
or
Yeah.
ugh, I would never bring them. That sounds horrible.
I just want to say I hear you, Mama. I've got one, and it was hard to coordinate. So just want to put that out there. Can't imagine.
Yeah.
To
I'm going
Ben's
to pause
question
real
here.
quick. Yeah, absolutely go see Sinners in theaters, Ben.
Sinners is very good. I feel like I saw it last year in the theater. Is it at the theater again?
It just got nominated for the most amount of Oscars in history, so they're putting it back in IMAX. And I saw it in IMAX, and if you have a chance, you absolutely should, Ben. It's
got my
thing to
favorite
do.
cameo of all time, probably. So that I did not
Interesting.
expect. So
Yeah,
I
speaking
haven't
of
seen
that,
it yet, but we don't really like. I'm kind of like Taylor when she was saying that. Like, so I did watch Heated Rivalry, but like once or twice a year, I'll just like randomly watch something. But other than that, I remember how I said I'm a nostalgia junkie. I pretty much just watch Lord of the Rings and Avatar: Last Airbender on repeat.
hey, I'm rewatching
without
Avatar
stopping.
now. Like I was literally watching.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
It's so good.
So good.
But Sinners has my attention. So I told Matt, I was like, if we can stay up for it, we should watch that tonight. We should try to watch
It's very
Sinners.
good.
He agreed. So,
Yeah,
okay.
Sinners is one of my favorite movies that I've seen in like a long time. Like I would put it top 10 ever. I would probably say I saw it in theaters 3 times, so it was quite good. I had a thought. Oh yeah, so I'm not going to say what the cameo is in case somebody wants to watch the movie, but it's a musician, and at Worldcon that musician was playing literally. So like you're at the big con and like literally looking out from the restaurant, that musician was playing during Worldcon, and I was like quizzing Zach because he lives there. I was like, hey, is there like a back door to the? Because I was like, I just want to like dip out and go meet this musician for like just like wait outside the venue. And he's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't have enough information to waste time. Yeah.
I
But,
have seen
no,
that
really
musician a few times, so that is
nice.
part of the
Yeah,
reason.
that's
that I'm
awesome.
a pretty big fan.
That could be a clue. Okay.
It
Oh,
could
you're
be.
gonna do.
You know that I
Well,
like
you know
old
what?
man
You just watch the
dinosaur
movie.
music.
That's how you're gonna find out what the answer is.
Okay. We just always talk a
No,
big
why
game
would you
about
do
watching
that?
stuff, and then we don't.
Yeah, no, I get it. I got all my coworkers, well, not all, but I would say like 80% of my coworkers to watch Sinners. I came back from the theater just like, you guys got to see it, and then they all saw it and loved it. So I was doing my part. People watching this are gonna be like, Kyle, we've heard you talk about Sinners 1,000 times. I'm like, you're gonna hear me talk about it 1,000 more times. It's fine.
That's the kind of endorsement I like, though. Like, 'cause like I said, I
Yeah,
have
that'll
limited viewing time, so when I cash in, I want it to be worth it.
You know, Madison, especially, I think you would really like it because I think that you like a lot of like genre blendy stuff. Like you have a lot of like wide
Yeah.
taste. Like, it's one of the inspirations for the movie is Salem's Lot. If that makes
Perfect.
you feel
Don't-
better there.
don't-
So
It's better if you don't know anything about it going into it, I think, because I knew absolutely nothing except Michael B. Jordan played.
oh, you didn't
twins.
even know.
That was the extent of what I knew about the movie.
Okay,
going
well,
in. It made it
Michael
better.
B.
okay.
Jordan is enough
That
to
would
sell
be
it.
really
You're good.
interesting, but I will say that I think most people know that it has vampires in it. Like I think that's like,
I did know that.
I think
did
you
know
were
that.
like in the sand, Scott. But I
Probably.
actually think that would be a really cool way of
I'm
watching the
happy
movie.
that I was. It was
Yeah,
a cool
absolutely.
reveal to me.
Yeah, I did know
Yeah.
that much, so that wasn't a spoiler. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan is awesome and super hot.
Especially in
So
this.
let's
Really
go.
good. Well, I can't talk about his hotness. I don't have an opinion on that, but
Man.
I'll take your word for it.
So what have you guys all been reading lately? Taylor, we want to start with you?
Well, speaking of vampires, I'm reading, what is it? Empire of the Vampire by
nice.
Christoph.
Nice.
So my patrons choose a book for me. I give them like a list of like the physical books that I have, and then they pick one, and they have all been 5 stars. They've always chosen a 5-star for me, and this is one they chose for this month. And so far, it is pleasantly surprising me. And I say that in the sense that I didn't think I was in the mood for vampires, right? But I'm really liking this take on it a lot. So I've been reading that one. I'm about like 150 pages in, and really
Nice. That's where I
enjoying it so far.
DNF'd is about around then. So
I mean, it is in the same way that I love Nevernight, but that is not a book I recommend to almost anyone. There's a very niche
That's
group of
fair.
people that I would recommend Nevernight to. I love it because it is so over dramatic and ridiculous, right? And Empire of the Vampire is the same.
I want
It's
to like Empire of the
ridiculous.
Vampire so much because there's a lot of it I actually think is really good. Like I liked a lot about it. And I also think Jay Kristoff is the coolest. Like every time I hear him talk about anything, I'm like, man, we would just get along. Like that's a guy I want to grab a beer with, kind of thing. And
Right.
I was reading Empire of the Vampire as part of like a TBR swap with Ian and Jordan, and it was like a 900-page book that like every time I picked it up, I felt like I didn't want to read it, and I had to I was on a timeline. I was like, this just isn't the headspace. So I want to give it one more try, but some of the cringiness was a little too cringy for me.
Yeah,
I haven't read it.
I have. You haven't?
Not yet. No,
Haven't.
I will at some point.
I think it is really good. And like I said, I love what he's doing with it. But there are, I tab my books. And so I have a tab specifically for this language is pulling me out of the book. I have a specific tab for that. But I love the concept and the over dramaticness of it. So that's not a word, but you know what I mean. Been loving that. And then what else did I read? I read, I had to look at my Goodreads because, as soon as you ask, you forget. But I read a collection of poems by Kate Bayer, and Yet. Her What Kind of Woman collection just hit me right in the feels. I read it right postpartum, and it was just incredible. So I'm reading her other collections. This one was okay. I liked it. Had some good imagery. And then the other 2 I've read recently are Beauty and the Beast, actually. Finally, and What Feasts at Night by Kingfisher. What Feasts at Night is fantastic. I love Kingfisher.
That's the second one of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
After What Moves the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, I really like T. Kingfisher. She hasn't written a book that I've been over the moon about, but similar to Adrian Tchaikovsky, but in a different way. She writes a lot of different things that I always think are good, and I just really admire that. Like the consistency, but different is something that I really like in authors. So I'm definitely gonna read those, and I really like her. So
to steal a description from someone else, Crystal Matar, I was talking to her about Kingfisher's writing, and she said there's a cadence to her writing. Like when you get into a Kingfisher book, you just fall into this rhythm. And I can't explain it outside of that, but I feel like all of her books are that way. So Kingfisher has been consistently 4 to 5 stars. So I really liked that. And then finally reading Beauty and the Beast, I have the beautiful Mina Lima editions. And I was like, these,
I
I
have
want to
those too.
actually read these. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
interested to hear if you've read some of the collection. Because I
I
do
haven't read
think
any of
that, and
them.
I'm
I
being,
just look at the pictures.
they're so pretty, right? I was
Mhm.
like, let me actually read this though. And I do think that all of the inserts add a lot to the story. I don't think I would have rated the story that high if it wasn't that edition. But I do think the beginning and the end was really good. And I had it in my brain that this was a children's story. So I thought it would be easy to read. The writing is so highbrow. And I had to
Really?
reread a couple sentences. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? I
What does
wasn't
this mean?
prepared for this. Yeah, I really had to think about it. But there is a section in the middle, kind of like Moby Dick style, where he just talks about whales for a couple chapters. There was a whole section about like genealogies. I'm like, why is this here? You're ruining everything.
Leviticus.
Wouldn't kids be reading it too and be like, I don't know, that seems strange. I'm gonna be
It
honest with you
seems
guys.
weird,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have an admission. I had no idea Beauty and the Beast was a book until right now.
Oh,
I
I
had
didn't
no
until
idea.
Mina Lima, I think, actually. So, yeah, I mean, it was good. I gave it, I think, a 3.5 because that
Nice.
section in the middle just threw me off. But the beginning and the end was really good. So I've just kind of I've been embracing the mood reading.
Yeah,
Like, unless my
absolutely. Very
patrons
different
pick it
stuff.
for me, I'm like, grabbing from everywhere. So
I have a follow-up
I've been
question
having
about tabbing. Do you tab all of your books, or is it just like where patron or like books you're gonna like for sure do content on kind of stuff?
Well, obviously, for sure, do content or patron books, yes, because I'm going to talk about it later.
Mhm.
But typically, not all. Like if it's like a popcorn read, and I know it's going to be that, then I don't.
Right.
I guess I can't think of an example at this very moment. It's not just like romance or anything, but if it's I read The Little Prince, and I did not tap that
Right. Yeah.
because it didn't hit me in the way that I think it hits other people.
Me either.
So
I read it maybe 2 years ago, and I liked it. Like I think it's good, but I expected
yeah,
it to be this like fun. I'm like, yeah, it's good. Like I can see why people read it. Yeah.
completely with you on that. So I guess it's off the vibes. If I'm like, if this is going to be a popcorn read, I'm probably not going to revisit it, then I don't tab. But usually I will. If
Nice.
it's a discussion book, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like the
awesome.
Sando books are all tabbed. So
And do you find that you go back to them often, or is it more that just the act of doing it makes you kind of remember it more?
I think I don't go back to them in between, but when I go back for a reread, right,
Oh,
then
okay,
I
cool,
do.
cool.
But
cool.
if it's a book for discussion and I don't tab, then the discussion is harder because I definitely need to go back and reference,
Yeah,
So
I'm like a server, and so the restaurant that I work at right now, we have iPads to punch in people's food.
mm,
And previously, at my other one, we technically would just use paper, except that most of the time I would just like listen and just remember. So I didn't actually like write it down that often, but writing it down or like knowing you have to remember it is like so much more. Like when I put something into the iPad, it's just gone. Like you're not trying at all. So the act of actually like writing down like any sort of note, even if you don't go back to it, just like helps encode it in your brain so much better. And I didn't like I knew it intellectually, but I didn't realize how much more beneficial that was. And so I started this job, and people ask me any follow-up question about any order I've ever had. I'm like, I don't know. It's gone. Like it's not in my brain at all. So
I promise I'll shut up and let other people talk to it. But I just want to
okay.
agree
No,
real quick with that
No.
because I am studying right now to get my next level Japanese certification and kanji.
Awesome.
If I am not physically practicing kanji, it does not stick in my brain. So I just wanted to go
yeah,
with your
definitely.
statement there. Like if
Yeah.
I'm typing it or if I just study it by highlighting or looking at it, doesn't get in there. I have to physically write it. So
Makes a
there's
huge
definitely
difference.
something there.
Yeah. Well, we'll let Taylor take a breather. It was
Sorry,
totally
everyone.
fine you were talking. I was just kidding. And Scott, what have you been reading lately?
Yeah, so Madison and I and our friend Brent are actually buddy reading Shadow March series by Ted Williams, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I thought I would like it, but I didn't know it'd be incredible. So the court intrigue and stuff is just so I'm super excited about continuing with that this month.
Is that the first one that you've read? Just
Shadow
Yeah.
March is the first book, so we'll do Shadow Play in February. So that was great. And then obviously I took about 2 days instead of one to binge through 12 Months by Jim Butcher, the new Dresden. Super stoked about that.
very, very excited.
I was nervous. I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if I would hate it. I didn't know if I would love it, but it's top 5 in the series for me. Hey, Esme, cool. So yeah, I can't wait to talk more about that book, but happy to talk more with you about it once you have read it, Kyle.
Yeah,
And
I'm
Taylor, are
so
you a
excited.
Dresden fan at all?
No, but it's one of those series that's been recommended to me by enough people that
Yeah.
I trust that I will read it one day.
Yeah,
I didn't ask Madison because I know she is, because she also
Yeah.
read it and she will also be talking about it.
Yeah,
And
I saw
then
your 5-star rating, Madison. So I'm so excited for 12 months.
yeah, it's without getting spoilery, obviously we were in a weird place after the last book, so I was
Mhm.
very nervous about how it would be handled. So
Plus,
I couldn't be happier.
just such a weight, right? Like you don't know, Jim's been going through a lot. You just don't know if it's
Mhm.
going to hit the same way. But everybody that I trust says that it's like, if it's not their favorite, it's like top 3 or top 5. So I'm super excited. Also, while we're on the Jim Butcher thing, I found out 2 days ago. I'm so upset about this. Jim Butcher came 2 hours away from me in May last year at this like
I'm kind of
really,
upset at you for not
really
having gone.
this like small convention that I've never heard of. That it's 42nd iteration, so it's like they've been doing it for 50 years or whatever, and I just didn't know about it. And it was $25 to go.
Mm.
And I found out about it like 2 days ago. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I was just so upset. I'm just,
Sorry you missed out
That's
on that. He
always
I
me.
didn't.
know.
Anytime I hear
Yeah.
about like a signing or a book release or one of my, because I always hear about it afterwards, and I'm like, I would have gone to that, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't be on every single mailing list, and I check
That's
my
true.
email like 3 times a year. So even if I was, I still wouldn't know. But
You
I
feel
just
like you
there has,
try to know, and then you just somehow miss things anyway. So it's
and
just
it's
not
stuff that
possible.
like I will drive for stuff. Some people won't, but like if my favorite author is like less than 6 or 7 hours away, I'll drive. But I have to know about it, and I don't know about it till I see it on Instagram or something. And I'm like, I would have gone to Dallas. Like it's only 4 hours. I would have gone to Dallas. Whatever. So
People haven't
sad.
been coming to Phoenix, and I am too lazy to drive to stuff. So, but that's
Mhm.
okay. And then the other books I'm in on right now, I'm about halfway into Fall of Hyperion. That's going pretty well. I don't like it as much as the first one, but I like it quite a bit. And then randomly, I started rereading Oathbringer again. So um, at the start of last year, I was like, I had this great idea. I'm going to reread Stormlight Archive, and I got through the first two, and I got like 100 pages into Oathbringer, and then I got laid off, and then I just put it away until like 2 weeks ago. So because I haven't read Wind and Truth yet, so I want to get
Nice.
Oathbringer and Rhythm of War reread at some point. But those are lower priority, so I need to finish up Fall of
I do
Hyperion.
think a reread helps with Wind and Truth because there's a lot of information in there. So
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, Scott, I reread all 4, pre-ordered Wind and Truth, arrived at my house. I had burnt myself out, and I still haven't read
Haven't
it.
got
I
to it
that's
yet.
shipped
fair.
it
Yeah.
to Japan and then brought it
I
all the
also
way to America, and I still haven't
And
read
it's
it.
really
So,
small. It's famously extremely small,
Uh,
like just a light paperweight.
I mean, talk about being nervous about a book already. Like I like Rhythm of War probably more than most people. A lot of people were soured on that, but it seems there is a lot of people that didn't like Wind and Truth. So I'm
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole
interested to see
topic.
how it hits
I'm
for
not
me.
gonna get too far into that. I would guess, Scott, that you'll like it a lot. Like I'm not gonna say it's gonna be your favorite or anything. I could
Yeah.
imagine you'd be like a little disappointed.
Mhm.
But I think you're a pretty laid back, chill guy that sees the positives in most books. And so I think you'll be like, yeah, it wasn't my favorite, but I think most of it was good. That's my prediction for you.
Boy, that sounds. I'm so excited now. You got me all revved up now.
And like
Hey,
Totally want it.
typically that
I
is
loved it.
okay with
I
me.
loved it.
Yeah.
I
Did
just
you?
I don't want
Okay.
to be like dude, I loved it so much.
No,
Like
that's
forget the naysayers. Like you're on the internet, you're gonna hear all the
You,
people being like Brandon Sanderson is dead to me and stuff. So like I'm just trying to.
you and Jake Bishop both said it was very good. You both seem to like it. So that's two people that I have faith in.
Well, me, Jake,
Hopefully,
Bookborn, and
Bookborn too. Okay.
oh my god, why am I blanking? I'm so sorry. I know his name, but I can't think of his channel name. Captured in Words. There we go. Okay. We did it live together, and it was like at the time in our sphere. I'm sure there's many, but in our sphere, it was like the only like positive live coming out. Like all 4 of us liked the book, but like had some criticisms. And like all the comments on Jake's video were like, "This is the only like positive discussion of this book that I could find." And I was like, "Guys, like it's just crazy that it." But I don't know. It was a divisive book for sure.
Yeah, I'll get to it at some point. Like I'm not
Yeah,
in a
for
hurry,
sure.
but at some
Yeah,
point
you
I'll
have a
definitely
long
get
time to
it.
wait for the next one. So
Yeah, I'm
We've already
cautiously
missed the
optimistic
moment.
about the
So.
new Mistborn series. Actually, I think that sounds interesting to me. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that way about Shadows in Time. I was like gonna reread up leading up to Shadows Upon Time, and then I just like didn't get moving in Demon in White. Like it's just
Mhm.
like a long book, and then I was like, well, like I don't have to read Shadows Upon Time when it comes out. But then people were hyping it to the moon, and I was like, that's it, I'm starting it. I'll do my reread later. And I read like the first like 15%, and like I liked it. Like it's a Sun Eater book. Like I always like it. And then like enough people that I trust had criticisms with it that I was kind of already concerned about with Disquiet Gods. And I was like, I don't know that I'm going to love it as much as I hope to. And I would rather finish my reread unspoiled by the ending
That's fair.
and then read the ending. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but I do really, really want to read it.
I'm on the like I love Shadows Upon Time. It's not my favorite in the series, but it's among the top 2 or 3 for me. It ended about as well as the series could
Nice.
have.
And Madison, I know you loved it, right? Like that was your book of the year, I think.
Yeah, it was my book of the year. It's just hard when you read so many good books, honestly, to like definitively. But
Yeah.
yes, for the purpose of picking something, yes, and it does have something to do with the fact that it was just so highly anticipated. And
Mhm.
I've been with this series not since the beginning, not since Empire of Silence was published, but I've been reading these books and loving them and rereading them for almost 5 years now, and
5
so it
years,
was
yeah.
just very, very special for me. And just to
Mhm.
again, it's not like Christopher Rocky and I are like besties or whatever, but to like have kind of grown up with him and watched his writing change and improve and just grow as a writer and just see him experiencing so much success. Like the whole thing was just a very positive experience for me. And like finishing my reread leading right up to it, like you mentioned, like I think that did me a lot of good. And I do not think it's a perfect book, but it, as far as the experience goes and my expectations go, it was like a perfect experience. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's my number one favorite Sun Eater book, but I couldn't
Yeah.
have been like, I really respect the choices he made, and even the parts that I didn't love, I like really like that he did that, if it makes sense at all. Like
Right.
he
It was
made
like
some
bold
brave
storytelling.
choices, he made some
Yeah.
hard choices, and I'm just so proud. I'm just so happy. I just loved it.
I relate to that so much. A little bit less with authors because I think that I haven't been around for enough authors to feel that way. But even like with Rockio, like when I like when we did our like read along of the Sun Eater books that were out at the time that I got into the series, and like Rockio came on like Tall Alex's channel and we talked to him and
Mhm.
stuff. Like his books were way more another, and now he's exploded. So even that little bit, I relate to what you're saying. But like I feel that way about bands all the time. I'll discover a band that like nobody knows about, and then like 5 or 10 years later they'll be like headlining an arena, and I'm just like literally just so proud of them. Like I'm
I
just
know
like
you're like,
I saw
I
you
was
when
there.
you were little babies. Like I saw the band Starset play for like 9 people in like a random dive bar in Minot, North Dakota, like 2 weeks after their first single came out. And then like that would have been in like I don't know, like 2014. And then in like 2018 I saw them at a festival with like 15,000 people screaming the words of their songs back to them, and I was just there like I was like, man, what a change. So I totally relate to the feeling of just like being proud for
Yeah,
Rockio and like
I'm like a
seeing how
proud
far he's
papa.
gone. Exactly, yeah.
I'm really stoked for his new Sword and Sorcery series that
Oh,
he's
it sounds
working
so
on.
good, so
I
good.
can't wait.
Taylor, have you started Sun
Yeah.
Eater or?
No, it is one of those series like the Jim Butcher, Dresden, Sun Eater, and why can't Malazan. Those are the
Okay.
ones that like I know I will read, but
Matter of timing.
the time when they've kind of exploded was when I was prepping for the move.
Mhm.
So, because it took like a year to prep, and then I had like ankle surgery and stuff. So I'm waiting until I can do them justice and be like, I'm ready to be in a world for a long time. And I just clearly, from what I said, I've been reading, I am not in that mode because I'm just like, oh, that looks pretty, So I'm waiting for those. So while I appreciate that they're a cornerstone of fantasy culture, at least right now in recent years. I can't participate in the discussions yet, but I love hearing
It's okay.
about how much everyone likes them, or at the very least, how much they give people to discuss. And that's
Mhm.
why I want to read them, because I feel like it would be fun to actually, even if I don't like them, I think, I've been on the internet talking about books long enough to be able to discuss books I don't like in an interesting way.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do want to read them one day.
I'd be really
But
interested in your take on Malazan. Like, I feel like or dislike or mid. Like, I think you'd have really interesting thoughts on it because I'm actually really surprised you haven't started it. I just thought you had read it just based on what you
yeah,
read
well,
before.
literally everyone in my orbit has read it. So I
Yeah.
don't blame you for thinking that. Everyone's like, Taylor, come on. I'm like, listen, do you want me to start it when I'm not ready?
You'll bounce off of
You
it for
know?
sure if you're not ready. Yeah. I've been telling
Yeah.
myself I'm going to read Midnight Tides, the 5th one, for like 2 years. Like, it just doesn't happen.
I love Midnight Tides, but
Everybody that I trust loves me. I'm so sure it's right there. No, that's the wrong side. It's right there, and I just haven't started it.
people are either frustrated by it or love it because it's again kind of a hard reset with new characters, and you're like, again.
Yeah.
But I happen to really love the new characters that are introduced in it. So Midnight Tide's great.
Yeah, I like that it's
I
like
just wanted
less
to throw out
pressure.
there. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Jenny Wirtz is another one that
Oh,
I've
yes,
been
yes.
meaning to read her series forever. Just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to start that this year. There's new audiobooks coming, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm waiting for audio on
Ooh.
those.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good on
Let's see.
Janny. I didn't know that. I've heard
Yeah,
the
so
writing is gorgeous. So
I think
The-
the first one already
it's
has
good.
an audiobook, and then the second and
Yes.
third are coming out, and then they did the 11th one too. So it's like you're just waiting on the
10th and
middle.
11th, the final two.
Oh,
ones
10th
have
and 11th?
audiobooks.
Oh, good,
I
good,
think
awesome.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there will be 5 now out of the 11 will have audiobooks, and hopefully it keeps going.
Nice. I have all the paperbacks stacked right under here, but like I really want to finish Malazan before I start those. Like I think that's a little much to have both of those taking up brain space. So
Yeah, they're hard to read. I wouldn't read them. I know Brian at Belltube was interlacing them and doing one per month of each. I don't think it's a good idea.
That's crazy. I know he was updating me on that. I'm like, I can't believe that you're doing this. That's just insane. Taylor, speaking of like Jenny Wirtz, have you read the
Yeah.
Daughter of the Empire trilogy?
I
would start there. I really think you would like it a lot. It's
Okay.
Japanese inspired, and I really liked the main character. And like, so do you know anything about the trilogy at all?
No, that's why I'm looking for a piece of paper so I don't forget it.
Okay, so
Don't mind me.
it's set in the Rift War saga with Raymond E. Feist.
Okay.
It's set like during the first trilogy, like the Magician trilogy, but you don't have to read. I still haven't read it. It takes place in a different place of the world, and the premise is the main character is a daughter of one of these clans, and women don't have rights to lead or any of that stuff. It's like a very patriarchal society. And then in like chapter 1 or chapter 2, her father and brother are killed in an ambush, and she's the only one left for her clan to lead. And so they are all just kind of accepting, well, okay, you'll lead the clan until we find you a suitable husband. And then, you'll marry a husband from another clan, and then that clan's just going to take over your clan. And they just all expect that. Right. And they're all like placating her. Like, you're going to be leading this clan for the next like 2 months or whatever. Like, we got to find you a husband. And she's just like, I'm just going to buck tradition. And she keeps pushing and pushing. And people are like, this is not how we do things. We're very like traditional. We do things a certain way. And she keeps pushing and pushing that trend. And she's like, I'm just going to lead. And the trilogy is about her, like, becoming the leader and like, and changing. And it's just so good. I love that character so much. And
Danny is someone I would trust to handle that well, right? Because I think there's a way that can be too predictable, right? But I think Danny would.
It's
really
funny because I've heard
from
conflicting sources multiple times who wrote what in that trilogy, and I find that very interesting because some of the people I've asked know Janny personally. Like Janny's like kind of in our orbit, right? Like she talks to some of our friends, and I just think it's funny that like we still can't get a straight answer on who wrote what in that trilogy. But it was like 40 years ago, so I guess that makes sense.
Or maybe she's like, you don't need to know that. Just take it as a whole.
Yeah, none your business.
None your business. Guy Gabriel Kay is a lot like that. He will not tell anybody under threat of death, like if he did anything with the Silmarillion. Like he's just like, I was just there, just help. He just doesn't want to talk about it, which is fair, like totally valid.
Well, I had that as one to read ages ago, so you clocked me correctly, Kyle. I just looked at my Goodreads. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I feel like P.L. Stewart would have like told you about it at some point because I know he's a huge Janny fan. So
yeah, he's been yelling at me. In his defense, he wanted me to read her stuff before it was cool. I just didn't.
That is so true. Actually, I first heard of Janny from Petrick years ago, like one time. But then after that, like PL was just the champion of Janny Wirtz for like a long time. So that is very true.
Yeah.
Monica asks, have you guys read Terra Ignota? Just curious how Malazan compares to that in terms of complexity. I've read the first 2 Terra Ignota. I've also read the first 2 Terra Ignota. Have any of you read it? By Ada
I
Palmer?
haven't. I do want to get to it. I'm a pretty big fan of Book of the New Sun, and I hear she is very Gene Wolfe-like in her writing. So I do want to get to it, but it's not anything immediate that I have on the plans.
Mm-hmm. I would say the complexity, like they're both complex, like in terms of, I'm talking about Malazan and Terra Ignota to answer the question. They're both complex. I think they're complex in entirely different ways. Not entirely. Like they both require the reader to like, you know, trust the process and kind of like build. There's like very intricate world building. But I would say that Terra Ignota is harder to read in terms of just like understanding the story and what's going on, which can just throw a lot of people off. But if you love it, you love it. Whereas I think Malazan's a case of like, I think the core story, if you're just reading, I think most people are going to be able to get like, okay, this is what's going on in the main overarching story. And then it's like all the details and the other stuff that might be harder for people to play. So both very complex, but I think in different ways, maybe. But yeah, that's a series I need to finish. I started so many series like in 2024, and then last year I did not continue like any of them. And I was
You're
like,
busy
why?
reading a book a day.
Well, exactly. That's literally it. It was
I know.
suffering. Like it was. I was
See,
like, I
I'm
can't
a
read.
series upper. I like.
I used to be. I failed.
I need. Well, if I don't like it, I'm not going to make myself. Like I'll
Yeah.
jump off a series and just be like, "That's not for me," or maybe I'll come back in a couple years. But for the most part, if I like something, I can't just leave it dangling. I gotta. And I don't necessarily have to do one a month. It's all on vibes, but like.
We lost her.
No.
That was the
About it.
funniest part. It's all on vibes. I'm out. Well, hopefully Madison can rejoin us in a second here.
Yeah.
That was a really good timing.
I feel her on that though. I think it like I guess I feel you more on that, Kyle, because like I used to be what Madison is describing. And then gaps would happen in my favorite series and I just never got back to it, you know? So
yeah,
pass it back over.
Welcome back, Madison. We missed you.
Sorry,
that
my
was the best
brother's
mic.
calling.
Do you need to go for a minute?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was
We're
an excellent
snowed
spot
in,
to
even
stop.
if
You're
you
just like,
need
no.
something.
Oh yeah, you guys are dealing with the crazy weather. I mean,
Yeah,
so
we're
am I,
snowed
but
in, so even if he needs something, I can't help him. So
yeah. And
So
the East Coast is getting it too?
The snow? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. What were you gonna say,
Phoenix
Taylor?
It's hard to tell if it's I was gonna say it's hard to tell if it's like real or not here because people panic for like 2 inches. It's supposed to be big, and we have no bread in our stores, so I don't know what that.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's
what I was
minus 46 here today, but that's just like Manitoba, so we don't care.
That's not for me.
Yeah,
That's not
I
for
shouldn't
me.
say we don't care. Nobody's going places today for sure, but it's we expect it in January. So
that's wild.
Tell me at least that's Celsius.
yes, but past minus 40, it doesn't matter. It's the same at minus 40. So it's very cold. You can't go outside.
Yeah, that's really cold.
A couple days ago we went to the movies, and then there was like one other couple that was in the movie with us, and then as they left, their car wouldn't start, so the guy flagged me over, and like my latch to open my car was frozen, which has so then I had to take my glove off to try to open it, and I was just trying to like feel under the car to get it, and we couldn't get it. Like he just like went inside and like waited for a cab. And I felt really bad that I couldn't help him. But just in that 1 minute where I took my glove off to try to like feel under, like my hands were so red. I was like, oh my God, I might get frostbite from like taking my
like
it
I
was
don't
crazy.
think people are meant to live in places like that.
No, we're not. We say that all the time. We look at my wife and I look at each other. Why do we live here? Like this is
like
insane.
not even as a joke. Like I'm pretty sure those are supposed to be like uninhabited places on Earth.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think of the Lewis Black joke where he's in Minneapolis and he's like, who settled Minnesota? To me, it seems crazy that people came here and stayed. I think it had to have been the Scandinavians. They just kept going and they looked around. They said, Sven, this is shit. We will go until it is cold.
That is a good bet.
But yeah, back to books because I feel like that's I don't know. I get off on tangents and then we just go on and
Same.
on. I kind of got this answer from Madison already, but you can talk about other books if you like. But what are some of the best books or like books that really like stuck out to you during the time where you weren't making as much content that you maybe wanted to highlight? Scott,
Yeah.
we'll start with you.
Well, I didn't read very many new things, but I did really enjoy the new Bachman book, My Friends. I got a chance to read that last year when it released, so that was really good. I know you're not as much of a Beartown guy because it involves hockey, but
I love Beartown. I love Beartown.
Okay.
I'm from
I
a
love
hockey town. So Beartown is criticizing hockey culture. And I am all for that as somebody who grew up in a small, cold town
Oh,
where
that's
people
fair.
idolize hockey players. I didn't love the sequels as much because I just think they kind of got repetitive. But
I did.
I loved the new Bachman book, though.
Did you also read My Friends, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that was really good. I'm trying to think what else. I didn't read a ton of new stuff last year. I mean, I could talk about like some of the nonfiction that I read, but it's not that interesting. So,
If you liked it,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I think
I like
that's
the
unimportant.
nonfiction.
Okay, so so people that don't know, I'm a huge chess guy. So I'm in the top 1% of the world in how I play on chess.com, and I'm pretty good. So the guy that runs chess.com, Danny Rinch, he's the COO, I believe. He wrote a book, and he talked about his upbringing. It's called Dark Squares. And even if you don't know anything about chess, it's pretty interesting from a psychological standpoint. He actually was raised in sort of a cult, for lack of a better word, a religious cult here in Arizona, actually. Not necessarily near Phoenix, but a couple hours away, a really small town. So he talks about his upbringing, kind of getting away from the cult, I guess. And there's enough in there about chess that it made a reader like me happy, but there's enough psychological stuff in there that I think anybody would enjoy it. So that was really good.
What was the name of the author? I want to put this on my Goodreads. It sounds
good. Danny Rinch. I think he spells it Rensch, but I could be wrong on that.
Dark Square. Yeah, okay, I found it. Yeah.
Really good. I listened to the audio. He narrates the audio, so
Nice.
I didn't read it. I had listened to the audio. That was really good. And I read Sapiens, so I
Sapiens.
enjoyed that quite a bit.
Fantastic book.
So I did also read, I think, the sequel, Sapiens. What is it? Duus or something?
Homo Deus. Yeah.
Homo
Deus.
Yeah.
That was pretty good too, but I like the first one. Just better.
Yeah, I think they're both really good. And then I read 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, and that one's also good, but like you can tell that it recycles some of the same ideas, but it's still like interesting.
Yeah, so I like both of those. I think he goes in a little hard on religious faith and belief just in general. I think he kind of picks on people that have, not that I'm crazy religious or anything, but it feels like he says anyone that has a belief in anything bigger than humanity is irrational, and or at least that's what I took out of it. So I thought that was a little tough, but
I feel like he's a hardcore atheist. Like that jives with what I remember from the books.
Which is fine. People believe whatever they want to believe. I got no problem with that, but I could see it not hitting very well for some people if they wanted to try it. I do want to read Nexus. That's about information networks throughout history, so I want to check that out from him as well, but I haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, you read quite a bit of nonfiction, Scott. Like I always find you reading some interesting stuff.
I used to read more. I don't know. I go in spurts. I'll go in spurts where I read a lot of it, and then I'll go in spurts where I don't read any nonfiction at all. So just depends. But I do like to, if I'm going to branch out, it's usually into nonfiction versus other fictional genres beyond fantasy and sci-fi.
Nice. Madison, what about you?
Oh man, so like I really didn't make videos for almost 3 years, and I did a catch-up video that had nothing to do with 2025. It was just like, I'm going to catch you guys up on 2025 in its own video because it already kind of was like end of year, so everyone was already making end of year content for 2025. So I was like, I'm going to slip that one in. But what about the other years? And honestly, the things that stick out the most for me that I read when I didn't have a chance to talk about them were probably mostly R. Scott Baker and all of. I read all 7 of them, not back to back, but essentially, I throw a light read in between. but I read both of those, a trilogy and a quartet. And I was nervous that it was going. I'm not a huge fan of military fantasy. I like things that are dark and grim, but like I usually need more from humanity. I need some sort of hero or something. And I really did not think this was going to vibe with my preferences. And I was so wrong. Like I inhaled them. I was so obsessed with them. I can't stop thinking about them. It's been years already, but I'm still thinking about them. So definitely those books made a big impression on me. Demon Copperhead, I read that twice on
Love
my
that book.
hiatus, and I just freaking loved it. There was something about it that just like I love that book.
Mhm.
I like I said, I did so many rereads. I reread, and which is so good. I reread First Law, Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, all my Robin Hobb books. I reread. I don't even remember. I just did so many rereads, and like I said, it was just so fun because, on one hand, you are able to kind of just like go on autopilot, but on the other hand, like Scott said, like you're not the same person as when you read those the first time, and so you are getting like a completely different perspective, and like parts that were not impactful the first time around, the second time around is just like this is just speaking to me in a different way. And I can't tell if it's because like the first time you read something, you're on a journey for information. Like you're trying to figure out where is the story going. There's so many mysteries. And when you're able to shut that part of your brain down and just appreciate, like Taylor mentioned earlier, the cadence that some of these authors have, the
Mhm.
beauty in the writing, the talent that's maybe subtle. Like you're able to just appreciate what makes books special. And like that's something I'm really, I think over the last couple of years really fine-tuned when it came to my preferences is when I first started getting into reading fiction and fantasy specifically, I was so consumed with getting through that like Mount Rushmore. Like what are the series that I have to read? What are the what are the ones that in order to be in the conversation that I need to have these under my belt? Like what are the so I was really plowing my way through and great experience. And the thing is, I liked almost all of it because you're reading the ones that are the best of the best. And then you get to the point where you have a lot more say over what you're reading. You always have say over what you're
I know
reading.
what
You
you
feel
mean.
like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have flexibility. And so then you kind of start reading some duds and you're like, are they duds or is it just not my personal preference? And I spent the last couple years kind of really deciding like what is it that makes a book special to me? Because a book can be good, it can be entertaining, it can be fun ride. I'm glad I read it, but it's not going to sit on the same shelf as some of these others. So what is it
Yeah.
that makes me love these? And so being on the hunt for that next special series that like really resonates with you is just kind of a fun place to be in. Because I know that if I need something extremely perfect, I know what to read now. Like I can reread anytime I want. And some of it's a gamble, but it's always fun kind of opening a book and going, this could be the next like spot on my Mount Rushmore. How cool is that? To kind of feel not that you've read it all, because no one's ever read it all, but get to the point where it's like this is all new territory, and not everything I'm reading has been completely vetted by 200,000 other people. So so there's some hit and miss, but it's fun to be in that discovery stage. And I'm deciding that I really, really love old lady fantasy. That's why I'm very excited to start my Janny Warts journey. I'm not calling you old Janny if you watch this, but you know what I mean. You know the type. I even call Guy Gavriel K old lady fantasy, and he's not an old lady, but it's just like a term I made up. And I love my old lady fantasy. So excited
How
to
would you
dive some
define
more.
it? Like for because I know the vibe you're
I
talking
would.
about, but how would you describe it?
So for me, first of all, prose is first. Like there's just a certain style of writing that really speaks to me, and I like intimate over epic. Not that I don't want, and I want action, I want fight scenes, I want duels, I want battles. I need that stuff to be in there, but I need the like the feeling that's driving the series needs to be more intimate than epic. I'm
You
a
want the
very,
last
very
scene of Lions of Alderson.
every time. Yep.
Yes. For people who
Yeah.
haven't read Lions of Alderson, you'll know when you read it, as you
You'll
all
know,
should.
and like that's what
I'll
I
find
want.
out this year.
I want my series to end with the words, "I was content." Like, Okay. So again, Robin Hobb, Guy Gavriel Kay. I read my first Lois McMaster Bujold book. That's going to be a
Fantastic.
slam dunk for me. Tad Williams is honestly maybe the perfect example of exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to fantasy. I want a classic fantasy feel with a more modern writing style. I want it to be extremely character driven, and I want the world building to feel deep and wide at the same time, if that makes sense. I want scope, but I also want to know where, why, how long did it take, how many dollars, how many loaves of bread did you need, where did the bread come from, who paid for it. Like, I want the details. A lot of the stuff that people consider to be boring or slow or nothing happened, I'm like, yeah,
More of
yeah,
that.
give me more of that. So that's not to say that I don't want my epic battles. You know, I love the Wheel of Time. I want grand massive battles also. But like I want, and I know this phrase gets so overused, but I'm super a journey over destination person. So
I think I
I
relate to
that
a lot of that, and those are all authors that I either really like or really want to try. Um, Me and Tad were on a break after Stones of Farewell, but I love Tad's writing. Like I think writing wise, brilliant. Stones of Farewell was a little too slow for me, but
Let me tell you
I've
something about Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I really liked Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Like, I read it over the course of 4 months, and by the time I was done, I was like, hell yeah, love that. Great trilogy. Once I read The Last King of Austin Ard, though, that took me to Tad Williams' superfan territory.
yeah, I'm very
And
excited for
it
those.
it made me like Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn more by getting to the next 4 books. And I love the fact that you're dealing with mostly the same. Of course, there's new characters, but it's only like 25 or 30 years past. So you still have all your characters and the world building just explodes. You learn so much more about like what makes it fantasy and not just alternate history or something. Like it really takes it to the next level. And I loved everything about that follow-up sequel, the series. So I was again. I don't want to say I was on the fence with Tad Williams before it because I really liked it, but it wasn't in my top 10 favorite things I've ever read, and now it's in my top 10 favorite things I've ever read.
Right.
But I
J-
consider it like all 7 books should be a series, not
right.
a
Like the
trilogy and a quartet.
Orsten Ard saga kind of deal.
I
Yeah.
agree. Kind of same
Yeah.
with the R. Scott Baker stuff. Is a trilogy and a quartet, but honestly, if you're going to read them, you should read all 7.
Right. Jake Bishop mentioned to me last year when I was doing the book a day thing because I was ahead of schedule. He's like, it would be really funny if you got ahead of schedule and then your last book of the year was the longest fantasy book and you just read to Green Angel Tower. And I thought that was so funny that I did put to Green Angel Tower on my like stack of books to read. And then when I got to 365, I was like, I don't know if I can go from 300-page books to 1,500-page books. Like I can't. Like I need some
And really, I feel like
transitionary
Tad is
time there.
something that's meant to be like
Yeah,
quick.
I also didn't want to just like binge it
Yeah.
just to hit a
And I'm a
number.
pretty
So
fast. I'm a faster reader than most, and so I catch the flack of people being like, "How did you even enjoy it? You read it too fast." Yeah, and I'm like, "We're not the same." Like that's so silly to assume that I read just like you because I
yeah,
do mostly audio, and people don't like that. I listen to it sped up, and people don't like
basically
that.
you don't read, Madison. That's what I'm hearing.
I
You've never
know.
read a book in your life.
I
A
completely
lot of
suck, and I'm a
gatekeeping.
liar.
Yeah,
There's always a lot
But
of
I'm like,
gatekeeping.
yeah,
insane.
so much gatekeeping. And so I get that. Like, it's easy for me to be like, well, of course you didn't like it. You read a book a day. But I'm like, I'm not you. I don't know how you take in information. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
crazy of me to act like my brain processes things the same way yours does. So you go. You
Absolutely.
go, Glen Coco.
It's funny, like like exactly.
I
People
wrote
read
that in
so many
Agents.
different things. Yeah, and then people will be like, "Oh, you read 50 books last year. Like you have to be like cheating." And then I'm like, I know people that read, and I'm talking about like physical reading. Like I do a lot of audio, so like I don't even count that as the same because like you do have to like spend a lot more time physically reading. But I know people who physically read like 150, 200 books a year.
Mhm.
So it's like if you're like accusing somebody that's read like 70, which is still a lot of books, that they must be cheating. It's like people just read differently.
Yeah. And that's the thing is
Yeah.
I am on like a local Facebook group of like readers and they're like people are posting their end of the year numbers. They like to do it. And so, hey, Jadia. But there are people posting, like you said, 40 books a year, and people in the comments were accusing them of lying. And I'm like, you guys, it's not Like people
Yeah.
spend their time differently. Like we said, none of us really watch a lot of TV. That's because we are doing other things. Like some people, every room in their house is clean and beautiful. Well, guess what? Mine's not, but I read more books than them. So like
Yeah.
you have this, I mean, I honestly hate when people say you have the same amount of time. Everyone has the same 24 hours. I don't believe that's true because I know that I don't have the same 24 hours in my day that Scott does, and he would agree with me. But
True.
in the end, we all choose to a point how we spend our free time, and we all have different amounts
Mhm.
of free time. But if you want to keep up with ESPN and sports and stats and commentary, then you aren't going to have as much time to read books, and that's
True.
fine. But don't act like I'm cheating because that's all I do.
Totally agree.
Well, what's the latest stat for most adults in the U.S.? They average less than a book read per year at this point. Like some crazy stat I read like that. So for most people, 40 books probably does feel like cheating because it wouldn't occur to them to read in their free time, which is sad and unfortunate, but it's just where we're at.
Taylor, I
think also
steamrolled you
it's
earlier. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh no, I
I
was just saying. I think. Go ahead, Kyle.
I literally am just telling you to talk. That's all I was going to say. So go ahead.
Well, let me go ahead and do that then. No, I was just agreeing with basically what you all were saying there. And I also think that that comparison, how people are bothered by what other people have read, shows that some people aren't ready to be reading online. They're just not.
Mhm.
Because if you're
Good point.
bothered by someone else's numbers, then you are not comfortable enough with what you're reading to be engaging with this conversation right now, is how I feel. Because
That's such a good way
no
to
one
put
is
it.
going to say it to their friends. Why would you read that much? If you're talking to your friend, you're going to ask them about what they read, right? So it's like people are getting in their own head about this comparison online, I think.
I always
And
say
it
nobody
cycles around every year,
gamifies the amount of TV episodes they watch. Like,
right?
you know what I mean? And it's like, it's because we have this idea that reading a lot of books is productive and watching TV isn't. But I actually I like books more than TV, but I also really like watching TV. So it's like, do I think reading a Bernard Cornwell book is really fun and really good? Yeah. But is that like better for me than watching an episode of The Wire? No. Like I'm learning more from watching an episode of The Wire, and that's TV. But it's like, you're not like, I watched 300 episodes of TV. Like nobody does that. So it's just people create this expectation in their head that it's like a numbers game. So
Well, the new thing is not even whether it's a physical book, audio, or whatever, it's what the actual books are. Like I've seen posts on X now, they're like, oh, that's how you read so many. Like they saw what the actual books were and their
Yeah.
romantasy and stuff like that. And somehow that's less worthy for these people because they're not the right books.
of course,
It
yeah. It's
doesn't
all
make any
scapegoating.
sense at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I
And
get,
it's interesting.
okay, you read that many books. Well, what's your page count? I'm like, first of all, you asked me the wrong question because my page count's always going to be higher than yours because I read huge freaking books. And that usually surprises them. But I'm like, you're missing the point. Like, people are enjoying themselves. That's why I have no shame over reading my smutty books last year.
Or should you? Yeah.
No, because I'm
You
like,
shouldn't.
who cares? Who cares? Like, why is reading something about a grizzled old barbarian more legitimate than reading about, a wolf breeding clinic? Like, it's all fake. It's all made up. Werewolf, but
Preach, sister. Yeah, that's what's up.
it's all made up.
I
That's
agree.
good.
And sometimes your
that.
brain just needs junk food. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you just deserve to go through the drive-through and eat it in your car. And that's the equivalent of reading those books. Like, it's just fun sometimes. We're allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I it's funny because like the year that I graduated school, I could just see so clearly like that whole like last semester I was just like reading like YA and like really like short historical fiction books, which is like obviously like I love it. Like there's nothing, but I'm just like, oh, I just needed like bite-sized things where I didn't have to think much. And I'm like, it's just different times of the year and different stress and stuff.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, you are not better than everybody because you read more than them. You're only better than people if you have watched The Wire. That's the only thing that makes you better than people. So. Earlier, we missed you, Taylor, on the books that you read that you really liked when you were gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, actually, when you had first posed the question, I took a look at what I'd read. And the first one that comes to mind is actually not a 5-star. which is interesting. But it lives rent-free in my head. And that is a collection of short stories by Nalo Hopkinson called Falling in Love with Hominids. So I give this a 3 or a 3.5 because with all short story collections, you're going to love some and not love others. But the ones that I loved are like imprinted on my brain. They are so well done. So I think for me, Hopkinson and I have a future in which I read her longer stuff, because the ones that didn't stick for me, I felt unmoored, like I couldn't get a grasp on it. So I think I'll continue forward with Hopkinson, but something about her imagery, like the last short story in this collection, I think it's about fruit, I think, but it's like 3 pages long. But the imagery conjured is just in there. And I can't explain the imagery, but she can, if that makes sense. And
That's
that
super
really
interesting.
it really speaks to her skill.
Is she
And there's
primarily a
another,
short story writer, or does she have novels too?
no, she has novels.
Okay, cool.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me just pull up her most popular one, maybe. Skin Folk is one of her most popular ones.
Oh, I think I've actually heard of that book.
So
I just
yeah,
didn't
she
know the
has
author.
longer
Yeah,
fiction.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I definitely want to dive more into Hopkinson in the future because she impressed me. But overall, it was like a 3-star. If I think of a book that like 5-star all-time favorite for me was The Raven Scholar.
Oh, I'm so
It's
excited to
so
read
good.
this.
It's so good because it was so overhyped and I was worried. I'm like, oh no, am I going to read this and I like
That's
it?
the only reason I haven't read
didn't-
it.
I encourage you
How
to,
terrible
actually.
is
I
like,
didn't
obviously it's
know
good.
it, right? At least to some degree, right? If enough people love it. I didn't know it was hyped when I bought it. I just thought it was pretty and bought it in the store because I was depression shopping and I picked that one up. And then I looked it up later and saw how many people were in love with this book. And I second it. It is, it has a premise that we all know. If we're in the fantasy world, it's a competition for the throne. And there are different factions that they have a system designed that every certain number of years, each faction puts a contender forward and they fight for the throne, right? So we all know this. But the point of view we follow is not who you expect. There's a switcheroo early in the beginning, and I was like, oh, I'm going to like this. I'm going to like this a lot because it's already subverting what I think about this particular plot setup. So I loved it. And I think that in the way that Madison said, you prefer the intimate to be the anchor and then have scope after that. I feel like this book gives you that. Like you can really connect to the intimate character connections, and then that's your anchor for everything else. I loved it.
Yeah,
So
the
that
author?
one was
library hold on it.
ooh. I'm interested to hear your thoughts now.
No, I will. Like all
Who's
I
the
really
author?
need is like
The
one
author
recommendation
is
from one person, and I'm like, fine, I'll try it. I'm an easy sell.
Antonia Hodgson is the author.
Antonia
Okay.
Hodgson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Debut novel?
I don't know if it's
Debut
debut.
fantasy. I think she's written
Okay.
crime thrillers before or something like that. But it is. She said in like the little blurb in the back that she's been wanting to write fantasy for a long time, so she's been working on this like in the background. So debut fantasy, and
I've heard
like
the name of
Illumicrate.
it, but I don't know much about it, so that's cool.
Yeah, Illumicrate did a version of that book that I just think is like absolutely gorgeous. It's in the other room, and when I saw that, that's actually like I wanted to read it already, but just like I don't know, that book was just knocked out of the park. It was like if this is the art for this book, some cool stuff has to be going on. Like I just was like I'm all in. And actually, Taylor and I were gonna like tepidly buddy read this, and then I just never started it, and then she finished it. So I mean,
Tepidly.
it didn't work out. So
just so you know, just so you know, I'm always the other end. I'm the
that's
one
fine.
that never.
I literally like we talked about it like a month before, and then you were like, "Keep me updated," and I just didn't start it. So like that's not on you at all. Like it didn't work out, but I'm super pumped to read it.
Oh please, yeah, and I love well-handled religion in my fantasy in the sense of like that it's integrated into the society and it's a power structure, and I just everything about it. Chef's Kiss. So that was 5 stars. And then the other one that comes to mind that was 5-star for fantasy is The Goblin Emperor.
Oh,
If
Yeah, I
you
love that book.
want,
I have that on my
yeah.
shelf,
I
and I've
mean,
never read it.
oh, I'm just so excited I saw the comment.
Yeah, I pulled this up
Red
specifically
Seas
because
Under Red Skies.
it reminded me of when I saw you in line for the Scott Lynch signing, and you had just found a hardcover of Red Seas Under Red Skies. So would you prefer that Monica read Raven Scholar or Red Seas Under Red Skies?
I think if you want like to really lose yourself in a world, I would go with Raven Scholar because Red Seas Under Red Skies is fantastic, but it didn't suck me in as much as Raven Scholar did, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
So I think if you really want to lose yourself, I'd go with Raven Scholar.
I really want to do a Gentleman Bastards reread. It's been a few years.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
me
fun.
too. I do
I
think
look back
we're
and
ramping
somehow I
up.
had. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying. I think we're ramping up to Thrones of Emberlane. I think it's almost done.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I look back and somehow I had Red Seas Under Red Skies as a 4-star and not 5, and I don't know what the hell I was doing. So I need to reread it and accurately rate the book because I do love it. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
my
sure
favorite one of
what
the 3
happened
that
there.
are out. I loved that book.
That's probably
It's-
true. Yeah,
it's
I do
really
like a boat
good.
book though. I'm a boat
Yeah.
girl. So
I think it really sold me on
Yes.
the Locke Jean relationship. Like, not that I wasn't sold before, but I just like, oh, it really hits in that book. And I think maybe, Scott, like, obviously we don't know what you were thinking at the time. Sometimes when you read a sequel, you're comparing it in the moment to the previous book. And so you're like, well, I didn't like it quite as much, so it's a 4-star. But then, like, with a little more distance, you're like, I liked them close enough that it doesn't matter. That happens to me all the time. I'll be like, I gave this whole series 5 stars, and then I'll look, and like the second book, I'll have given 4. I'm like, what the hell was I doing there? And I just think that's what usually happens.
I'm trying to be less. I started this last year, but I'm trying to be less stingy with my 5 stars because I'm like, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. And so I'm trying to get comfortable because it used to be I only gave like God tier books 5 stars. And if you had looked on my Goodreads, I had like 8 books marked as 5 stars. And I'm like, then I would go through as I'm rereading over the years and see that I only gave something 4 stars on Goodreads. And I'm like, what was wrong with you? Like, this book is awesome. And so I'm trying to get to the point where I'm just like, if you loved it, if you had a great time with it, like, boom, 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of that. I give so many 5 stars. I'm very free with it. And I think that exactly, like, to me, it's like, what is that book trying to create in me? Like, I gave Seth Rogen's memoir 5 stars. Do I think that's as good as The Lies of Lockamora? No, of course not. But when I read it, I was very entertained, and I picked up the Seth Rogen memoir expecting to be very entertained. And so it did like, so like, to me, it's just like not that serious, but I do know some people have the same mindset of like, oh, 5 stars reserved for like the creme de la creme, top of the top, which is fine. I don't relate myself.
Yeah, and I'm trying really hard to be like, just take it for what it is. Like, I gave one of my hockey books 5 stars because for a hockey romance, that was so 5 stars. But is it Storm of Swords? No. Is it the best book ever written? Like, I had to let go of that to be like, nothing is a straight comparison. And like a rom-com or, a quick little cozy mystery is going to be different, obviously, but it can still be 5 stars within its genre. So I'm trying to just let that go.
Yeah, I always say that, like, I love Storm of Swords so much that if I did this in any sort of like tiered way, like Storm of Swords would get 5 stars and every other book would get 4. Like, I mean, like, it's just like, if I think about it too much, then just like nothing gets 5 stars. So.
It's the best fantasy book ever written.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the funny thing. It's not my favorite fantasy book, but I think it's the best fantasy book ever written. And I feel like that's objective. Like, if anyone says otherwise, I'm like, oh,
I feel like there's only a couple in the conversation. Like, it'd be like Lord of the Rings, Storm of Swords, like probably a couple. Dune. I mean, I think of sci-fi, but some people consider fan. But there's like only a couple books even in the conversation for what would be like the best. So, Taylor, have you read A Song of Ice and Fire? Taylor, we are an hour and 18 minutes into this, and now I have to kick you out. That is so upsetting to me.
See, this is why I don't say anything ever, because this is everyone's reaction. I know, and you're gonna hate me even more now. I don't know if I want to.
Well, Taylor, if I can get Bookborn, you don't think I can convince you?
Yeah, Bookborn for years wouldn't do it, and now that's all she talks about is George.
I'll start my campaign. You know what? No, I'll offset this to Bookborn. She can do more of the Lord's work and get you to do it. It's totally fine if you don't read it. I think that it's, you should, but it's okay.
You
to go.
mentioned like wanting to get to, what did you say, Jim Butcher? He says, "Mothers, you should do A Song of Ice and Fire first." Now,
You
listen.
think?
Let me just tell you something. Don't be sad about the fact that, like, we all know, George is never going to finish it. It doesn't matter. You won't regret reading them, period. A Game of Thrones is my favorite book of all time, book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire. And I just think you should read it. I think everyone should read it.
I know.
Me being over the top aside, what is the reason that you don't want to read it?
I think it's just oversaturated in the fantasy genre. I hear about it all the time. Every time I said I haven't read it, I'm not yelling at you guys, but I'm just saying this is the environment of the fantasy world. And so in the same way, maybe Madison, that you said like, well, Ravenskull is popular, so I haven't read it. Maybe it's just becomes over so many years. And I'm like, I don't even wanna, is maybe where I am now. So I don't care that it's not going to be finished. I genuinely don't care. Like, I still recommend Gentlemen and Bastards to everyone, whether we get Thorn of Everlake or not, because I think it's phenomenal. I'm not bothered by series not being finished, and I don't think they owe us that either. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. So that's not an issue, which means that maybe in years' time, when I feel less, it's everywhere, maybe I'll be more open to reading it. But I think now maybe I'll hate myself later. I'll read it in 5 years and be like, why didn't I read this sooner?
Well, it's never going anywhere. That's the thing. It's just not going anywhere.
So,
would you be going in completely unspoiled, or have you watched the show?
Oh, I've watched the show.
Okay. Because I
that might have played into
it. One person I know went in completely unspoiled, and it was a lot of fun watching this individual.
I think we're talking about the same person. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's
really,
always so much
really
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also less pressure to read it. Like, I mean, obviously, if you know the show, you at least know, like, you can still like have the cultural touchstones. Like, if people are talking about the characters, you kind of know. So there's like less pressure of being like, oh, I really want to at least know what people are talking about. You already have that, so it makes sense that like you're just pushing up against people being like, you got to read it. And it's interesting because like for a couple of years, people didn't talk about it as much, and I think that lately it's been way more talked. Like, it kind of dipped after the show, and now it's back. So maybe that was the moment, and then it passed, and you have to wait until the next time people stop talking about it as much.
This is where being old has a huge advantage, because I've been reading this series since Kyle was like 2 or something, probably. So, so this has been my favorite series since shortly after Storm of Swords came out. So it's never going to change.
I mean, considering that we're on a book discussion, live, obviously I believe the books are better. Right. So always. So I fully, I liked the show until everyone stopped liking the show. I started disliking it at the same time as everyone, so I do feel like I will enjoy it when I get to it, but I just don't feel the need to right now.
You could try, if you ever just feel like reading something completely like, hopping off of your typical genre, trying something else, you should try something like he's written stuff other than A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
and I just love the way he writes. So like, what's the
Fever Dream's really good.
Fever Dream is a great.
Fever Dream's great.
It's it's not fantasy. It takes place in like not what would that be, like 1800s America?
Yeah, it's like post Civil War South America.
Civil War South, yeah. It's so good, and so I think you would appreciate and enjoy the way he writes, because he's just phenomenal. But if you want to step outside of A Song of Ice and Fire, there's still options, or even starting with something like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is, of course, the Dunk and Egg series that's on HBO right now. It's very episodic. It's very slice of life, like some little adventures, and it's more intimate, and it's not, it's not the whole world and everything. So you can still enjoy the writing and experience what he does without diving straight into Westeros and all that comes with it.
I've heard Fever Dream recommended before.
I love
it.
So
that would be something that I would be.
Yeah, I have
need to read Windhaven.
You do. I love Windhaven so much. I was going to say 2 things. First, Taylor, to relate to what you're saying, I had a friend in high school who loved Iron Maiden, and he would not shut up about Iron Maiden. And I loved the same style of music. We liked all, but he just would not shut up. And I would just, every time he put on Iron Maiden, I'm like, will you leave me the hell alone? Stop talking about Iron Maiden. And then I finally had a chance to see Iron Maiden live, and I only knew like 2 Iron Maiden songs. And I was like, I was like, I'm done. And a different friend wanted to go see them live, and I went to go see them live, and I was blown away. And I was like,
Mhm.
man, I just needed to get out of it. So I totally relate to you just being like, could you guys just please like leave me alone about this? Like,
I think
I
everyone
understand.
has their
Like, I
thing they
get
do
it.
that with. For sure.
And then
I think it has to be organic interest, and
for
it will
sure,
be
yeah,
one day.
yeah.
One day.
And in regards to
That's a good
Windhaven, like I actually think Windhaven would really be up your alley. It's co-written with Lisa Tuttle. It takes place on
Okay.
this like rocky planet where a ship crash landed a long time ago, and then the people spread out on all these islands, and they use the remains of the ship to fashion wings to get to the different islands. And over time, it creates a caste system. So the flyers, the people that have the wings, pass them down to their kids, and so they become like the kind of the people that everyone wants to be because they have the wings and they can fly. And then this girl Maris is like an orphan, and she gets taken in by this family who doesn't have a kid. So she starts using the wings as a kid. She gets really good at flying. She really loves to fly. And then they have a son. So then the wings are supposed to go to the son, and the son doesn't even want them. The son wants to be a musician. And so it creates all this conflict about like, you know, societal expectations and like changing the system and all this stuff. And I think the character work is phenomenal. It was written as 3 separate novellas. So it does have like time jumps in between each section of the book that some people find jarring, but I think knowing ahead of time can kind of help. And just written phenomenally. Me, Jimmy from Chatting with Nuts, and Bookborn all rated it like, and Joanna from Joanna Reads all rated it like extremely highly on our end of year lists. And
Yeah, I got to get to
Windhaven would be
So
my
that sounds very
recommendation.
much up my alley.
Yeah.
Sounds very up my alley. Yeah, I think I would love that.
And it's short. It's like
Yeah,
320 pages or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, I'll add it to it.
awesome.
That's kind of the length outside of Empire the Vampire I've been going for. So it sounds
Yeah,
great.
yeah, the shorter
Thank you.
stuff for sure. One thing I wanted to talk about before we leave is kind of the opposite side of that, which is, and I know Scott in particular likes to stay away from the negativity, so we don't have to go on like rants if you guys don't want. But what are some books that didn't quite work for you that like, you know, you were expecting to really like it doesn't have to be books you hated, but just books that like didn't quite hit what you thought they would in the last like year or two, like, you know, like while you were gone. Scott, you want to start?
Not really. I'm trying to think of anything. I've spent so much time revisiting stuff I love that it's going to be hard.
I mean, it's cool if the answer is no. That's good. That's what you want, right?
I don't know if it is because it probably means that I'm not reading widely enough and experiencing enough new things.
That's a good.
So I don't know that that is a good thing. I'm trying to think of disappointments and things that I didn't like. I can talk about a couple things. So and people are going to hate me for this. I have tried a little bit in the what is it? What's the genre that Dungeon Crawler Carl is? What's that genre called?
Oh, Lit RPG.
Lit RPG.
Yeah. So Madison's going to be angry with me here. So I tried. I tried Battle Mage Farmer.
I loved
her
it.
recommendation. She loves it, and I did actually enjoy the start of it. It was okay. But I found with Lit RPG that I bounce off of it hard no matter what it is. So I started that, didn't finish it. I started Dungeon Crawler Carl, couldn't finish it. It's weird to say that someone cares a lot about suspension of disbelief when they read primarily fantasy and sci-fi books, but for some reason, Lit RPG, I just can't. I can't get into the mindset of there's some weird head in the background telling you what your points are and what the hit points are, and here's your treasures, and it's really hard. But based on people loving the genre, I tried again this month. So Brian from Belltube, he's the Lit RPG guy. So he said the series that I really like, he said it's called The Good Guys, and then there's a follow-up series called The Bad Guys, and they interlace. I'm like, well, that sounds like a lot of books. I'm going to try that. So I tried Good Guys, and I actually finished it, and I didn't like it very much. I rated it 3 stars, but it was closer to like 2.5. For the same reasons, I have a hard time caring about these people that are not really people, and you know, it's a new chapter, so it's time for a new treasure box, and let's go find the other thing, and it's so yeah. I think I'm out on Lit RPG.
Yeah,
I think that's what I've determined.
You gave it a really good shot.
You gave it a good shot. That's fair.
And if down the line, this is a very tepid recommendation because I think you gave it a good shot. You gave it 3 tries, and I understand. And but as somebody who doesn't really like RPG, like I hate all like the things you just said, I also agree with. and I love Dungeon Crawler Carl. So
Okay.
the advice I would give if you ever get the urge to try again in 5 years or whatever is to just literally ignore the loot box crap, because I actually just like tune it out. Like
Okay.
I vaguely hear it and then I never think about it again.
Same.
And I do think some people get really hung up on it, which is fair because it's like it is a lot. Like it talks about it a lot. So it's like it is reasonable to care about that in the same way when people are like, oh yeah, Sanderson repeats his like magic systems all the time. Like that doesn't bother me at all, but it's reasonable. Like
Yeah,
he
see,
does. So
I'm fine with that.
yeah. So you know, just
My
the
favorite
idea.
game as a
Oh,
kid
sorry, go
was
ahead.
Final Fantasy. My favorite game as a kid was Final Fantasy, the first one, and it's still
That's the oldest
100
thing
years
you've ever
later
said.
my favorite. Yes, I'm an extremely old person. I turned 47 next week, so I'm extremely old.
Oh, congrats.
So
You're not
Final
that old,
Fantasy, my
Scott.
favorite game of all time. I like playing it. I don't want to read it. I don't like
That's
seeing
fair.
people level up with it. It's just not, that's not enjoyable to me.
No, I totally
I
get
like
that.
the type of progression I see with Harry Dresden, where I'm not thinking about what number level of wizard he is. I see where he is at the start, then the next book, and then I like that because the author is showing it to me through
As opposed to telling
words
you.
and
Yeah.
deeds
Through
instead of
words and
telling me.
deeds.
Yes.
Shots
That's-
fired
Dresden's a
at
great
the lit
example.
RPG crap.
Yeah, Dresden's a great example of progression fantasy that's
I agree,
not
yeah.
progression fantasy, because it
Yes.
is progression fantasy, but it's not lit RPG like people think it
Yeah.
is. But it because I was thinking the same thing when I was reading 12 Months. I'm like, it's
Mhm.
wild to think of where he started as a wizard
yeah.
and where he is now. Not to mention the
Absolutely.
side characters and the world building and like all that stuff that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But even just Harry's skills are
Mhm.
each book he levels up, but there's just not a, you know, good going, Harry, you're leveled up. There's not a
Yeah.
voice in the background, but it is progression fantasy.
I remember reading
Yeah.
Battleground and so many wild things were happening that I just tried to like imagine like getting a time machine and going back to telling myself nothing else except like a scene from book 17 when I
Yeah.
was on like book 4. Like I'm like, if I just told you these words, you'd be like, what? How is this possible?
That was me
It's
in
crazy
Deadbeat.
progression. Yeah.
You probably know
Yeah.
the scene, but in Deadbeat, I was like, if you
I
went
know
back
the
to Stormfront and told me, oh, this is what he's going to be writing, I'd be like, I'm
Mhm.
not reading this. This sounds stupid. It's not.
If you really want to see the growth of an author, Butcher throughout those books, it's like, and I especially noticed it on the
Unbelievable.
reread. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous how much he leveled up as an author throughout that entire series.
Well, I went back and reread Grave Peril because everybody
Mhm.
glazes that book as being really good. And that's the third book for anybody who's
Yes.
unsure of the names of the titles of the books. And I remember like I gave it 3 stars. I'm like, it's fine. And I went back and reread it. And it has like,
I
you know,
love
some
it.
of my favorite characters in the series. Like it really does introduce a lot of really important stuff. And I finished the book and I gave it 3 stars. I'm like, I just like he's just not
Kyle.
he's just not a very good like not he's just a fine author. Like it's just the characters I love, but they haven't gotten good yet. Like I just
No,
he really does
that's
progress
right there.
so much.
Yeah.
That's a trust the process series.
With the last thing I'll say about this. So on the Good Guys, the use of the word cool beans every time he leveled up was really, really tough.
Cool beans.
Like,
No,
That's
that book's not for
really,
me.
really
I can already tell you
difficult.
that.
I was listening to the audio and it's like, cool beans. You have I'm like,
I would stop that for sure too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm pretty good with like modern or like modern phrases, but sometimes it just kicks me out like just out of nowhere. I read Voyage of the Dam by Francis White, and I got 2 chapters in. It's actually one of my fastest DNFs of all time. I DNF'd it viciously hard. Like I will never read another word from that book. And maybe it's a good book. Like I have no idea. I can't remember the language it was, but I was like, this language does not suit the idea of like an imperial procession on a boat and a moat immersed mystery. I was like, I'm out. So I get that.
And unbelievable dialogue is the main thing that will kick me out of a book.
Mhm.
If I'm like, people don't talk like this. Miscommunication trope, or just like stale dialogue, or dialogue that sounds like it's invented by an author. Like I want to believe that 2 people are having a conversation.
Mhm.
So that is one thing that I will automatically kick me out. Can I go next with the negative thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this isn't completely what you were asking, but I feel like this is a good time to run this by you guys, because this isn't something I read during my hiatus, okay? But I am a Malazan hater, and I say Malazan, and I'm not changing how I say it, so there's no point in correcting me.
Preach.
I DNF'd the series midway through book 7, so I definitely gave it a very, very healthy try. a couple of months ago, I found this Google Doc that apparently one day in a rage, I completely just typed up all the reasons I don't like it because I was so tired of people being like, well, you just didn't get it, or you didn't try hard enough,
Yeah,
or it's
that's
because you
terrible.
do
Yeah.
audio. I not by the way, I did a lot of it immersively. But anyway, it's
Mhm.
because you did audio, it's because you tried it too fast, it's because you were doing it with a buddy read, it's because you didn't get it. A lot of
It
it because
doesn't
you
get
didn't
better
get it.
until
'Cause you
book 10.
or it's better on a
Yeah.
reread. And I was so tired of trying to explain myself that I was like, fine, I'm just going to type up a huge document. And anytime someone wonders, I will just send them the link. So I thought about, I've never done any negative content on my channel, honestly. I was thinking about doing my first rage bait, clickbait type video and calling it Why I Hated Malazan, but why I'll probably read it again. Because I probably will read it again. And just read the document and just let it out into the universe. What do you guys think?
Well, I want to see it either way, so make sure I get a copy of it, even if nobody else does. So that's important.
Yeah, I think you should
Because I'm
film it and
really
then
not very
send it to us
negative.
and never post it. Like,
I'm
I don't
very
know. Like,
passionate,
I
though.
think you need to come to terms with two important things before you post it. One, that will kill somebody. Like, somebody watching it will get so angry that they will just fall over and die. So,
Have
like,
a
that's
heart
the first
attack.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing
Okay,
to
that's a
come to
lot of
peace with.
responsibility. That's a lot
And the
on me.
second thing is that I think you will get a ton of negative comments.
There will be.
Which, like, if you're strong enough for that, I would love to see it. I think it would be
I'm
really good.
not. I'm so
I
weak.
just the Malazan community, some of them are really nice and some of them are very not nice. And I can
That's on
hear
my
already
list.
some of the
Part of that
stuff.
is on my list. Because some of
Yes.
them are nice and some of them are really, really, really
There
mean.
there are some really nice people in the Malazan community,
Of course.
obviously.
Mhm.
The people that are the gatekeepers of the series and that kind of stuff, that's where even if they were nice about it, it
And
would be
yeah.
very annoying.
To be
So
fair, though, there's mean weirdos in every fandom.
true.
But I would be calling them up out of the woodworks, and that probably, I don't
Yeah.
know if I have the like emotional bandwidth to deal with that many negative comments. You guys are right. I just should do it.
Yeah.
How about this? If anybody watching this video wants the link, message me directly. But you're
Sounds
right.
good.
No, I
should
do.
do that.
I won't say the name of the creator, but there was a creator who did not like the series, and DNF'd after like one of the early books, and they got so
Mhm.
much hate that they deleted all of the content they made on it, and I think they just like refrained from talking about the series ever. And I know
See,
it gave them a lot of stress. So
that's terrible.
I'm not saying don't post it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like I do think you'll get a lot of negativity, and I don't want that for you. So just
You know
be
what?
aware
I'm
that that's
glad
what I
that
think. Yeah.
I'm glad that I ran this idea past you guys because I was just thinking, hey, I say from the get-go that I will probably try it again. And I mean that because it makes me mad that I don't like it.
Mhm.
Like
Well, you like the early books, right? Didn't you like Gardens and you like Dead House
I like
Gates a little
Gardens
bit?
of the Moon, but I liked it as like, oh, so much anticipation. Like I don't really know what's going on, but I like what I'm
Sure.
getting. I like, I liked it as a setup book. And then
Sure.
I really liked Dead House Gates. Like I
Yep.
genuinely liked that book a lot. And then every book after that, like, and again, I understand that being a part of a really large and really messy group read along definitely affected my experience.
Mhm.
Really affected it because not only was I trying to participate, but I was trying to moderate, and
Hmm.
that really
I remember
added. It
those
made it feel
days.
more like work. So,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of negativity in my ear from certain people that were also participating in it, and so I take all of that into account when I think about my experience because it could be completely different if I did it further down the road. Like I read more difficult series since then.
Mhm.
I appreciate things that I didn't appreciate as much then. So I know that the second time around would be different for me. So I want to try it again at some point. But I feel like I'm right about all the things that I didn't like
Yeah,
about it still.
probably. Yeah. See, my thing with Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and that's what I've read is the mainline series and like one of the Esselmod books. When people tell me, yeah, that was great, I loved it, I get it. And when people say that's horrible, I don't understand that at all, I get that as well. So even as someone who appreciates and admires what he did, I understand when people are like, what the hell is this? Like it makes sense to me because it's not a traditional series that most people are used to, where each book kind of it does, on to the next step. It feels more like a series of short stories that kind of connect together, sort of, eventually.
Mhm.
Like that's how it feels. So I get it when people are like, "This is terrible. I don't understand this." So that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble around like the Dead House Gates discourse because there's a storyline that I don't really like, and people
Mhm.
bring the baggage of every other human being that's ever discussed a story with them, so they're not really listening to you. And
Sure.
so then when I say I don't like this character, people hear the 1,000 misogynists before them that were just like,
Right.
I hate women that have any emotions or feelings or like have ever gone through
You're
anything.
no,
And I'm like,
it's not
no,
what I
that's actually
said.
not what I'm saying. Could you like interact with what I'm saying? And so people like
Right.
would just assume like where I'm coming from. And I'm like, no, I actually like I do study psychology. Like I think it's a very good portrayal of what this is. And I also hate this character. Like he can be two things.
Mhm.
It can
And
be
so
Which is reasonable.
that
Yeah.
like people's like inability to just like let you experience it and like have an opinion and not like be in course of like
Yeah.
the discourse of every other person. It's just like was really exhausting
That
to
was
me.
my
And that
experience as
really
well.
impacted me when I was reading it. And I stopped just because I got like not even burnt out, just like I just, Bookboard and I were reading it together, and then she didn't want to continue at the time, and it kind of fell by the wayside. But I do
Mhm.
think the next time, like when I start up, I'm just not posting about like I'll talk to my friends about it, and that's just it. I'm just not gonna engage with
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
And
So.
I think all the outside commentary really affected my experience. So when I do try it again, I probably won't announce it to anybody. I probably will not put myself on any type of a schedule and just really try to take each book for what it is. I think the reason I like Dead House Gate so much is it's the book that reminded me most of the R. Scott Baker series.
Nice.
There's a lot of similarities there that I'm like,
You
something
just like
about that
deserts.
book. I guess long, long trudges through deserts where
Yeah.
everyone is miserable and dies the whole time. Apparently, that's my thing. So anyway, I will try it again, and it's just the one thing that it bothers me that I don't like it because on paper I should like it. So it's like I'm not giving up on it, but I also have a lot of strong feelings about it.
That's fair.
Totally
I would be
reasonable.
really
Yeah.
interested when you do reread it, how you feel, because I am not blown away by it by any means. Like I gave the first book like a 9 out of 10, the second book a 9 out of 10. Memories of Ice, I gave that like a full 5 stars. I liked a lot
I
of
like
it.
memories. Yeah.
And then House of Chains, I gave like 3 stars. Like I just didn't super like I'm not a huge fan, but I do like it and appreciate it. And so like it's rare to hear like a voice of reason, like Scott saying, like, yeah, I get it if you love it or you hate it, because I just feel like everybody's on one side or the other with the series, or like not really, but the people who talk about it
Yeah.
always tend
House
to
of
be.
Scott
Chains
is
is a
a
weird book
very
anyway.
reasonable person in general.
House of Chains is just weird because I like Karsa as a character a ton, and part of the book really follows him, and you see what's going, and then he'll break away and
Connection is
do all kinds of other
god
stuff that
awful
has
so
nothing to
bad.
do with Karsa. So it's
I like
very
Karsa
strange.
too. I like Conan
Yeah,
the
me too.
Barbarian.
All
Like
the
I like the
Carson stuff in that
barbarian
book was
character.
really good. I
Mhm.
didn't like most of the rest of the book. Like,
Right.
and
Which
the
is
climax is
not
kind of
uncommon at all. Yeah.
not great. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. Like I didn't dislike it, but it did not blow me
Sure.
away in any sort of the way. So
If and when you pick up Midnight Tides, I'd be
I will.
interested in your experience because
Yeah,
it's
I'm super pumped for it.
very different than the first 4 books. Very, very different.
I have this first 6 of these, and I said I will not buy 7 through 9
Mhm.
unless I like 5 and 6. Like
That's fair.
I'm confident enough that I will like 5 and 6 enough to want to have those 6, and I just think the edges look sick and the books are really nice. But I will not buy the next 4 unless I like love the series. Like I'm not gonna commit that money to it. So Taylor,
the
now that you're
Hounds.
back,
sorry.
Yeah.
how are you doing? Yeah, sorry,
Sorry.
I kept that going just because I wanted to make sure you were okay. You're good now?
No, I'm all right, I think. I don't know why
Okay.
the Wi-Fi went out suddenly, so fingers crossed. But I could hear you guys the whole time.
Oh,
just so you
okay,
know.
sounds
You
good.
just
Sounds
couldn't
good.
hear or see me. So you want me to go into complaining?
Yes, complain.
Okay,
Let's do
great.
that.
Great, I shall. Beforehand, though, once we've got Scott, now we've got Scott complaining, which is a rarity. I'm just curious because you like chess. What do you
Yes.
think about Queen's Gambit, real quick? I just want to know.
I have
if
not
you like
watched
the
it.
show.
So I watched like one
Okay.
episode, which was fine.
Uh.
I need to watch it at some point because players that I love actually were, consulting on the show and stuff.
Mhm.
So at some point I will watch it, and I will read the book as well, but I have done neither to this point.
Okay.
Do you
Well,
not
I'll
like
look
it,
out for
Taylor,
it.
or are you just curious?
I
About his
love
opinion?
it. I love it.
love
So I
it.
just wonder
I
if,
love the Queen's Gambit.
it's so good.
That like got
in
me
my
playing
opinion.
chess again for the first. Like I played chess a little growing up, and then like my wife and I were obsessed with Queen's Gambit, and we played chess like every night together for like 3 months after. I actually really want to
Really
rewatch
fun.
it. I really like Anya Taylor-Joy, and that was where I think I was like, oh, she's a great actress. Really loved
she's
it.
good.
Mm-mm-mm.
That had a huge boom in the chess community. So the number
I
of
bet.
like chess.com had to like bring in a bunch of new servers and do a bunch of infrastructure work because it exploded
That's
the number of
fantastic.
people that started playing again. So it's good.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right, now I'll take ownership of my complaining then instead of putting it on Scott. So for me, the one that was the most disappointing would be Mina's Matchbox, which is a translated work by Yoko Ogawa. She did The Memory Police. I don't know if anyone
Oh
else
yeah,
here
yeah.
has
I
read
have
that.
that book. Yeah.
I love Ogawa's work. Especially with The Memory Police, like that was a 5-star read for me. I've read a lot of Japanese fiction, so I'm comfortable with the storytelling. I think if you're not, you might read The Memory Police and say nothing happened, right? But in a lot of Japanese fiction, that's not the point. So I loved that book. However, Mina's Matchbox. I DNF'd that halfway, like I got 40% of the way through and I was like, why am I still reading this? It was Japanese fiction is so good at tedium, but tedium with a purpose. This had no purpose in my eyes. It was just we would wake up, we would observe life with this girl. She would observe other people, so it wasn't even like her doing things. And we go to bed, and we wake up and we do it again. And I was like, what am I reading? So that really disappointed me because I love Ogawa's work. So, or I thought I did. I don't know. I've got a 5-star and I've got a DNF. So I have other works to read in the middle there. And then the other one that disappointed me, borderline made me angry. I'm sorry for the hockey romance, but Icebreaker. I
read it.
I tried the hockey romance because I like romance. I think it's a fantastic genre. I think the formulaic aspect of it allows you to play with a lot of things other genres don't. And I think it could be really well written. However, Icebreaker to me was not. We talked about writing pulling you out of the story. My entire reading experience with it was just, if this, then why this? This was said earlier, doesn't align here. Like there were so many plot points and lack of connectivity that I was like, this should be on this should have been a fan fiction. It should have stayed there unless it went through further editing, in my opinion. So that
I'm
was
glad you said that
disappointing.
because I'm done with the Heated Rivalry series now, and so I was like, what else is in the hockey romance? And I haven't read that one, so.
I mean, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as someone who's liked other stuff in the genre, how you think it like measures up to the rest of the genre.
Is it male or male female?
Male female.
I feel like I'm done with male female.
Then don't go for this one.
I'm just so into gay romances now that I'm like, ew, girls, get out of here.
Heterosexuality, pass.
That is a vibe, one that I'm down with. But yeah, I read the whole thing because I wanted to get it. I desperately wanted to get it. And I just shouldn't have finished it because it kind of
that's annoying when they set up rules and break their own rules, or when there's logical inconsistencies. Like, hard to enjoy any book when that happens.
I can't look past it.
Because once you notice it, then you'll notice everything else that isn't consistent, right? So, and then I think the other one, no anger involved, but that disappointed me. There's probably two more. One is A Palace Near the Wind. This is a debut. I believe it's a debut. And it's a novella. And it was released with a lot of fanfare. It won a lot of awards. Let me just pull up. I think it's in the description. If awards mean something to people, maybe they'll, be like, oh, of course it's not coming up now. But it did win. I'm not making that up. It won a bunch of awards. So I was like, oh,
I'm going to fact check you later. I'll just put it on screen.
Put it in the pin comment. It did not win. But it was when we were at Worldcon, and there was a table that focused on translated works, which I love. And this is not translated, but it was like front and center on that table. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna love this. And unfortunately for me, it had those inconsistencies that we're talking about. And it also had an unreliable narrator in the sense
Mhm.
that we didn't know what the main character didn't know. But we were left in the dark for so long that when the reveals came, I thought if we
out of
actually
nowhere.
knew this, if we knew this, this would have been more interesting. There would have been more tension. I would have been more
Sure.
invested in the book. So for me, the writing in the end just didn't work. And as a novella, I can't really talk about more because it's a quick read.
Yeah.
So am I cutting out again? I might
A
be.
little, but you're fine now.
I all
Yeah,
right?
one thing that I've noticed that
Okay.
like really bothers me is just like when authors the characters hiding their own thoughts. For people, like I read a book and I read a series recently, and I won't say what it is just because I am going to spoil this aspect. You're in a character's mind and they hate somebody, and they spend the whole first book thinking about how they hate them and how they're going to like, the whole quest is to kill them. And then in the second book, they're still like trying to find this person, trying to kill them, and just like randomly out of nowhere, nothing changes in there. Like there's not like they don't have like take a hallucinogen and unlock a memory or anything like that. They're just randomly like, yeah, that person's my sister. And I'm like, you didn't think for 2 books that this was your sister? You like, this is so artificially insane that the author was like, I need this to be a reveal. But like, okay, make it like she repressed that it's her sister. So like, you can't do that. Like, that's just insane.
Yeah.
It made me so unreasonably angry that it was just like, oh, for like, in world time of like 3 years, I never thought about the fact it was my sister. Like, just crazy.
Right.
So that kind of stuff's nuts.
That would have set me off as well. It was similar to that, where I was just kind of like,
Was it
why
My
did we
Little
not
Pony fan fiction? What it sounds like.
That's so funny.
And then the last one would be The Invisible Man. I didn't hate it, but I expected to love it, and I didn't. So there was
That's always a disappointment. It takes it. It like makes you dislike it more almost because you're like, you owed me. Like when you expect something to be just like, oh, this is going to really resonate with me. I already know I'm gonna love it, and then it's like, oh. And so then it's like, it probably would have been like a 3.5 star read, but I'm giving it 0 stars. So I'm mad at it.
Yeah, because I'm mad now. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah, that's such a terrible feeling. That's happening to me actually a little bit with this, and I'm still very early, so I don't know. But this Colleen McCullen First Man of Rome series, it's like a 7-book historical fiction series. They're huge. They're all like 1,000 pages, and it's supposed to be like the historical fiction for Rome. It's like meticulously researched. I've collected them
almost
on paperback
started that a couple of times
over years. Like I have the whole stack over there. And I've just been like, oh, it's like a big series. I don't want to get started. And then Alan's doing a read along of the first 3. And I was like, I don't know if I can do all 3. We'll see when the baby comes, but like, I'll do the first one. And I'm only 90 pages in. So this can for sure turn around. But it's a chore to pick up. And it's interesting because I think it's so telly, like it's telling you so much about like the Roman stuff that like I would just prefer nonfiction. But then like I've read a lot of like historical fiction in Rome that I find more interesting. So it's like the historical fiction parts aren't hitting. So it's almost like I would recommend it to somebody who doesn't know much about the period, maybe. But it's like it's not giving me either of what I want. I would rather do something else for either thing. But I will give it a lot more time than I'm giving it. But I just expected for years. I'm like, this is gonna hit it out of the park. And I'm like, am I gonna DNF this series? Like, I'm not.
Is this a reread for him?
No, he read it for the first time, and he really loved it. Everybody else except me and Kevin that I've seen in the read along have really loved it. So I mean, maybe I'll come around. But
I just have to say, that we're all fantasy readers. When he's like, "Oh, I'm only 90 pages in," we're like, "Oh yeah, that's early." Like none of us even.
It's quite literally less than 10%.
Chapter 1, basically.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start wrapping up here. We went a little bit longer than I was expecting to, but that's because I miss all you guys, and it's great talking. Thank you guys for joining me. It's nice to kind of spend a Saturday afternoon and just hang out with friends and talk about books. For a wrap up question, and we'll try to keep it a little brief, but if you guys want to go off, you can go off. What is a book or series that you're really excited to read this year, like new release or just like backlog? Taylor, we'll start with you.
The time that you called me first, I don't have an answer.
Okay, well, we can skip you. I was thinking about your Wi-Fi. I was okay. Madison,
I appreciate
you go.
that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of. One thing I'm trying to do this year is to not make too many plans, and just be open to jumping onto buddy reads, saying yes to a couple of my favorite things I read last year were completely unplanned, like things that someone else was reading and I was like, sure. And I just jumped on and read it. But I do have some plans for the year. at some point I'm going to try this C.S. Friedman series.
Okay.
What's it called? Black Sun Rising is the first book.
Mm-hmm.
It has anyway. I'm really excited to try these because I don't know, old lady fantasy, right? And also like these covers, like I'm just like I see a cover like this and immediately I'm like, yes, I need to know all about that. So gosh, I feel like I'm missing something obvious. I'm having a
Yeah.
great time with the Tad Williams series that Scott mentioned at the beginning. I'm really excited to start book 2. Book 1 was like honestly like a perfect book 1 to me. Like every character is interesting, every plot line has its own mystery. I really like the who I'm kind of calling the main character is a princess character that
She's good.
she's not like a tomboy like Arya Stark necessarily, but she's definitely not like staying in her assigned role, and she seems smart and she's young but she's not 12, you know. Like I just really like how everything's being set up and everything about it. I'm just like this is exactly like my recipe. So I'm really excited to keep going with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this because I'm just kind of like willy-nilly
I think
right now,
going with
all
the
over the
flow is a
place.
great answer. Like,
Yeah,
you know, you
that's
don't
my.
have
I'm
to have a
excited to
ton of
go with the
plans.
flow.
Like, yeah,
I
I
can.
want to go with the flow, but I don't know. Like, I also want to finish some stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see
Yeah,
how
I
we'll
did a
see how the
pretty.
mood takes
I
me.
do my best to wrap things up towards the end of the
Yeah.
year. Like I always take October, November, December to go. All right, what do I have that's left open? And not that I'm completely wrapped up, but I like to kind of wrap things up. I'm almost finished with The Last Kingdom. I have 2 books left, and I'm really excited to wrap up that
Oh, the
series.
13th one is so good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So I have books 10, 11. So I think I have I just finished 10. So I have 11,
Okay.
12, and 13 left. But the cool thing is I own so many Bernard Cornwell books. Like I own more Bernard Cornwell than any other author, which I think is crazy.
Hmm.
So when I get done with that, I'm either going to start the Civil War series or I'm going to start the Sharp series. So
You know
I
what?
have
Let's buddy read the Civil War series. You want to do that? Because I wanted to read
yes,
that
I
this
do.
year. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I'll follow up with you on that because
Yes.
that
How many
was
So
on
books?
my
I'm just
short
excited
list.
to get into
4.
more Bernard Cornwell. It's 4
I might be down
books.
for
And they're
that.
not very
If you
big.
guys want
They're
a
not very big.
third wheel.
Yeah, let's
I
do
do.
it. Taylor, you're invited. I don't know if you're into historical fiction, but
I don't dislike it. I just don't gravitate towards it. If I'm
right,
buddy
fair.
reading, maybe it would make me read it. I mean, I don't
Okay.
have anything against it.
I'm
Like
interested to
join.
read some
Right.
Cornwell though that's outside of the medieval
Yeah.
era because obviously Last Kingdom is it's Danes and Vikings and Saxons and shield walls, and then my favorite trilogy of all time is the Warlord Chronicles, and that's
Excellent.
That's good.
Arthurian. So I'm excited to read something of him that's much more modern, 1860. That's like basically last year compared to some of this other stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to kind of get his take on how he writes American history.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, let's definitely follow up on that because I was making a list
Very
of
much.
like shorter historical fiction I wanted to read, and that was one of them. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd be
Perfect.
down for that.
I just wanted to tack on to the way that Madison talked about the next year for my answer, which is just like what I'm reading now. And so the next thing I'm probably going to read, because I haven't planned the rest of the year. I'm
Yeah, that's
very
good. That's
by the seat of
perfectly
my
fine.
pants. But what I'm reading right now and have been reading for like a month and a half, it's like my background read, is The Thousand Deaths of Artaban. I don't know if anyone's
Okay.
read that, but it's
I literally only know one thing about it. Isn't that like the
yeah.
dragon poop book?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So
Guano.
I have a theory.
Madison's like,
that
tell
one-
me more.
Well, my theory is that one day Whitesides, which is the author's name, was like high with his friends, and he's like, you know what? What if dragon shit was the source of power? What would that look like?
Like,
And
I
he
think
just
you're onto
built this
something,
book
man.
around it. And what I do think he's handled well is like it's hinted at, like if you logically connect the dots, you're like, does it come from shit? But then like later they do say what it is, but enough of the world has been built by that time that like you're intrigued. Right. So there's different types of like grit
You're
and powder and
water
stuff that's
boiled
made.
into the dragon shit.
Yes, pretty much. And
I'm
so,
familiar
and
with
it's a
that series.
heist,
I didn't know it had that in it. So that's good, I guess.
Well, I
Do
don't
they
think he
snort
makes it his
I just
main
need to know ahead
point.
of time.
I literally every time somebody mentions that they're like, that's the dragon poop book. Like I know nothing else about the series. So, but you're enjoying
Fantastic.
I will say, yeah, I am. It's a heist. I love a lovable
Oh,
rogue
nice,
leading a heist. You know, it's just the setup that I enjoy. So
nice.
far, it's a fun romp of a book, and I can confidently say I've never read anything like it. So
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool.
I like that.
Did you read James
Yeah, it's
Logan's
fun.
book, The Silver Blood Promise?
No, but I want to so bad.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think you
I'd
would
love
like
it.
that. Yeah, it's very Scott Lynchy, but like not
Yeah.
like a direct ripoff or anything like that.
You can check that one out too.
Scott, what about you?
Mm.
I know you have a little bit more
So-
concrete
Heist
plans.
all day, every day. I'm there.
Well, I don't know how concrete they are. I've been the other thing I read this month was Magician's Apprentice. So I'm starting the
Nice.
Feist series. That's the the start to what you were talking about earlier with him and
Right.
Janny. And I really liked the first book. I was surprised. I wasn't sure if it would hit for me or not. So looking forward to continuing with that. It's really a trilogy, but it's broken down into 4 books. So that's kind of how we're reading it. So that's good. Also interested and excited to continue with the Shadow March series. And then I do think I am going to dip back into, or try to get back into, Light and Shadow this year, Janny Wirtz. I did try it. About 100 pages of the first book like 3 years ago, and as much as I was enjoying her writing and that kind of stuff, I just wasn't at that time. It just wasn't for me at that time, I guess. So, but it is a series that I want to have on there that I've completed. It feels like something that oh, it's good, Chubby. I like it. Yeah, that's good. So those, and then I want to get some more Gene Wolfe behind me. So at some point, I do want to do Long Sun and Short Sun. I don't know if I'll complete those this year or not, but I want to get those in at some point too.
Nice. And you really liked the first series, right? Like the Shadow of the Torturer and stuff.
It's weird, but I really like it. I was fortunate enough that Rockio came on my channel for each of the books and talked me through it because I needed training wheels for that series. It was not an easy read for my dumb brain. So it was nice to have an expert on board for it, but I really did enjoy those 4
I
books.
still have those videos bookmarked for when I
nice.
read it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch these. Well, at the time, I was like, I'm gonna read these in a couple months, and then let's not think about how long
Yeah.
ago that was.
And
but it is like I'm actually for sure gonna watch them when I read the books because
Scott loves
He's a
talking about his
beautiful
dumb
writer.
brain also, but I think it's important to understand Scott has a philosophy degree.
yeah, Scott is very
So-
smart. He just has that. He's just that. I'm just a Joe Schmo.
So if
Vibe about him.
something's challenging for him, I'm always like, I'm gonna just watch these videos along with it. I think
Yeah.
I need training wheels, literally.
Yeah, no. So that's some of the stuff, and then there's other things that I made in my video that I'd look forward to this year, but I can't remember what some of that stuff is.
Anytime anybody
at this
asks me a
moment.
question, I forget everything I've ever said on the subject. So
I know. I'm like, well, I made that video, but I haven't watched
Yep.
it, so I have no idea what she said.
I am going to read. I got approved for the ARC for Fonda Lee's new book, so I'm excited.
Oh yeah, me
about
too.
that.
I'm super excited for that.
Yeah. So I'm going to do.
I'm wearing my Greenbone shirt today.
Greenbone's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I see Greenbone behind Madison. I just want to say I love it too. I'm part of that group. I haven't been part of the others, but I'm part of that one.
We have all 4 of us are in this group. We found a common thread.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that one. I'll do that in February as one of my reads. So that'd be good.
Nice.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm really excited to see what she does. Like I haven't I read Untethered Sky and I liked it a lot, but like in terms of like another like novel with like all of her full power.
I liked
Mhm.
Untethered Sky too.
Yeah.
I think I like when people talk about griffins. Like we should do that more.
I need
I
to
agree.
actually finish Untethered Sky. I read like half of it and never got back to it. I liked it. I don't know why I didn't finish it.
That's really funny because it's like 90 pages, Scott.
Yeah.
I know it's so short, and I
I know.
didn't finish it, and I don't know why.
It happens.
I actually
It
have a
happens.
signed copy because we got a chance to meet her here in Phoenix, which
Nice.
was cool. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's
yeah,
lovely.
Fonda Lee's so
yeah,
nice.
she's really nice. Yeah.
I met her at Dragonsteel. Well, I met her at Worldcon too, but like very, very briefly. But I like talked to her at Dragonsteel, and she was just like so kind. And like people can come out. Like I waited until the end of the line. I think I just like came relatively near the line, and I had like more books for her to sign. So I wanted to be at the end, and so I was like the last person in line, and I was talking to her, and then people kept coming up, and like her like handler, like the end of the line guy, the guy that worked for Dragonsteel, was like. She's done, but she kept being like, "No, I come over," and she just kept signing more stuff, and she's just like a very sweet woman. So
She is. Yeah.
She is.
I love hearing that. It's always the worst when, like, I know authors, celebrities, blah, 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 people too, they don't owe us anything. But oh, I hate it when there's someone that you just genuinely feel like, I don't know, like you hear that they're a jerk and it just like changes the way you feel about their art as well. Like I try to separate, but sometimes it's just like, nah, dog, you can't treat people like that. That's crazy. And then it makes you not like their stuff as much. So it's good, always good to hear when people are awesome.
I won't say the name of the author, but someone might be able to read between the lines. But there's an author who writes books that are like relatively well known, and he's famously an asshole. And he was a Dragonsteel around other authors that like I wanted to talk to, and I would just always, and I have had no interaction with him. Like this is not, it's just based on like things I've seen this person say in the world, and I just like I want none of this, and I just would just turn away from him. I'm like I don't want to have an interaction with this person, and that sucks because you know what, like. Maybe it's not as bad as I think, but it's just hard when you see tweets and stuff. You're just like, I don't want any part of this. So,
yep.
Well, the opposite is also true. I don't know. You guys skipped out. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Am I back?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The opposite is also true, though. Like through doing page chewing, I've had the privilege to speak to so many authors, and authors that you would imagine would be way higher in the hierarchy of famousness that they wouldn't want to talk to myself and PL, but because these people have been so willing to come on and talk to us, it makes me so much more of a fan. Even if I haven't read their books, I'm like, well, you are a good person, so I'm going to recommend your books to people I think would like it, even though I haven't read it yet, because I know you're genuinely, your spirit. I know what you're like. I mean, Tad Williams is one of those. P. Jelly Clark. Like, there's so many that are just phenomenal people. So the opposite's also true.
Oh yeah, there's so many. I mean, most everyone I've talked to in any way has been extremely kind, and it works that way to me most of the time. Like I actually will say this name because Peter V. Brett, I've heard about his books. They vaguely seem like I probably wouldn't like them that much, but I don't have any reason to think that beyond vibes, and that like people that I really trust haven't tended to read them or just find them fine. But I talked to Peter V. Brett at Worldcon for like an hour. Like we were just sitting there in a bar just talking. There's a bunch of us and we just had a long chat, and now I want to read his books. And like he wasn't pitching me, he wasn't talking about his books, he was just a guy that was cool, and now I'm like I want to read this guy's books and just see like if I like them or not. So like
I really like the first one. The first one is legitimately a very good book, his debut. I liked the second one, and then it started to go off a cliff for me personally.
Yeah, I think I've maybe heard this before, and maybe I'll feel the same way, but just I probably wouldn't have ever picked his books up if I'm honest, or like not for a really long time if I didn't meet him. And so it does make a difference having that like personal touch with people.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's a whole other discussion, is how authors are expected to be part of their brand now, the way they were before. Something that we don't have time for now. But that's a whole other animal.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking with you guys today.
So good.
You guys are. I love all your channels. I love all you guys as people, and it was good to be able to like mix. I try to like do like a mix of like people that I've seen talk together a lot, and like also people that like are a little bit outside the wheelhouse of those.
I know.
People.
I've never met Taylor before.
Yeah,
so.
I wasn't sure, and I was like, I've never seen you guys collaborate, but I wasn't sure. So that was good that you guys hit it off, and we're all like a big group of nerds just trying to talk about things we like. So yeah. But yeah, so I'll link all you guys' channels. Scott, if you don't have another video out in like 3 to 6 business days, I will be sending you like just dog poop or dragon poop in the mail.
Dragon poop.
I'll be on the lookout.
And chat, thank you guys so much for joining in and talking. It's always great to hear from the chat. And we'll see you guys next time. I plan to have one of these early February, but I'm having a baby, so everything is tentative until that happens.
Make sure you have your priorities straight.
Yes. Well, I mean, live streaming, baby. Like,
here's some advice. So sleep when the baby sleeps, live stream when the baby live streams. You'll be fine.
Exactly. All right, guys. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.